My child, stop what you're doing. I, the Lord your God, am speaking directly to you, and this is not just another message, it's an emergency. Something is shifting in the spirit, and you're not watching this by accident. Heaven has scheduled this encounter, and if you walk away before the end, you'll miss the very instruction that could unlock your next breakthrough, your next breath. My beloved child, I need your attention, not in a moment, not later tonight, not after your mind settles or your to-do list is cleared. Now, stop right here, in this exact breath. Shut out the noise, silence the background of your thoughts, and let every fiber of your being lean in. I am not sending this message like a gentle knock hoping you'll eventually answer. No, child. This is a divine alarm, a rupture in the ordinary, a sacred interruption that heaven itself choreographed before time began. While the world spins and distractions clamor for your gaze, I have chosen this moment to command your full attention, not for information but for transformation. This is not a suggestion, it's a spiritual summons. Everything about your timeline has been marked by this second, and I will not let you miss the magnitude of what is waking up within you right now. You felt the tremors, the strange urgency you couldn't explain, the sudden weight behind your prayers, the chills you feel with no wind. That wasn't your mind. It wasn't anxiety. It was me, pressing my presence against the window of your soul, urging you to pause before stepping into the next thing. You've been walking through your day with a numbness you couldn't name, scrolling for comfort in places that can't fill you. But deep within your spirit, there's been a growing knowing, an ache, a pull, a vibration you've tried to quiet. That feeling is me raising the volume of my voice to match the cry of your calling. This is not ordinary. This is not just another day. It's an emergency in the spirit realm, not because something is wrong, but because something sacred is being released. And it cannot, it will not, be delayed any longer. Let me be even clearer. Your name has been spoken aloud in heaven's command center. There has been divine activity behind the veil, movements assigned to your name, and angels who have paused at the edge of your reality, waiting for your full attention. I've been whispering in the pauses, in the quiet sighs between your responsibilities, but now I must speak through fire. The urgency isn't born from panic, it is born from perfect timing. You're standing on a line, child, a spiritual threshold. You've stepped so close to what you've been destined to carry, and I need your hands empty of distraction and your heart unburdened by noise to receive it. If you keep walking with divided focus, you will walk past what I designed to meet you. That's why I've stirred your spirit to stop right now, because this is the second I've longed for. And I say again, this is not a casual message. This is the beginning of divine rearrangement. The very foundations under your routine are being cracked open, not to destroy you, but to deliver what I've been storing. This isn't an echo of old inspiration. This is a present tense encounter with your Creator. I'm not just moving in your story. I'm rewriting the timing, shifting the angle, and breathing power into areas you thought were permanently paused. This is the moment heaven breaks protocol to reach your spirit directly. Don't move past this. Don't let your mind dismiss this and dramatic. Let your spirit rise and recognize it for what it is, a holy emergency. So child, stop. Breathe. Listen. I'm here. And what I'm about to say next depends on your ability to remain still long enough for eternity to enter your atmosphere. The door is open. I am speaking. And the alarms are not sounding for danger. They are sounding because destiny is descending. My beloved, listen to me again, not with your mind racing or your heart half here, but with the stillness that heaven has been begging you to embrace. Because this, right now, this breath you're taking, it's not part of a regular sequence. It's a holy collision point, divinely timed and eternally significant. You are not where you are by accident. Your feet have not wandered off course. Even when you thought you were lost, I was rerouting the coordinates of your story to bring you here, to this exact intersection between what was and what must now be. This is the interruption I orchestrated, and heaven has broken through the veil not to entertain your emotions, but to deliver your instruction. You are stepping into a moment that cannot, must not, be missed. This isn't about good timing or fortune falling your way. This is about fulfillment, and fulfillment is never casual. I've been weaving timelines together in silence. While you slept, I wrote. While you wept, I waited. While you wandered, I warred. And now, the moment is here. The page is turning with the weight of prophecy. You thought you needed another sign, but child, you are the sign. You are the confirmation. A living testimony. What I've placed inside of you is now reaching the edge of revelation, and I will not let you walk casually through this hour as if it were like any other. No, this is the hinge of heaven. This is where everything pivots, where decades of intercession crash into a single, sovereign second. Can you feel it? That pressure inside you that won't let you rest? That isn't confusion. That's convergence. It's the merging of prayers you forgot you prayed with answers you didn't know how to request. You've been sensing this. You've noticed the tension rising, the sudden unease in familiar spaces, the unexpected doors closing without warning. That is me. That is your Father stepping in to say, enough. You stayed there long enough. There is no more waiting for the right moment. This is it. This is the moment I've been protecting, the sacred turning point your spirit hath been aching for. Do not miss it. Heaven doesn't pause lightly. The interruption of heaven isn't random. It is always rooted in revelation and release. And listen closely, child. I'm not just sending angels to you. I'm shifting the structure of time itself for you. I am folding moments, bending outcomes, and accelerating answers. The rhythm of earth had been overridden by the rhythm of eternity. That's why you felt out of sync with your surroundings. That's why nothing around you seems to make sense anymore. Because you're not moving with the world anymore. You're moving with heaven. And that shift, though invisible, demands your complete attention. This moment is pregnant with purpose. Don't treat it like a passing feeling. Don't dismiss it like inspiration. This is intervention, child. This is heaven's red letter hour, and your response in this moment will echo into future generations. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to awaken you. Because what I'm releasing now has a shelf life. If you hesitate, it doesn't mean I stop loving you. But you may miss the alignment that only this hour can bring. There are assignments that were born for this moment and no other. There are people prepared to receive you only now. There are platforms that will only open under the current weight of obedience. And yes, I can rework missed moments, but this one is unique. This one is layered in layers of destiny, marked by the fingerprints of prophecy, soaked in the intercession of saints who prayed for your arrival. Do not scroll past this second. Do not mentally say yes while spiritually staying still. I'm calling you to move. And here's the beauty in this urgency. I'm not pushing you to strive. I'm pulling you into surrender. Because what I have waiting on the other side of your obedience is not just a blessing. It's a blueprint. It's a map for the next era of your life. It's the alignment that unlocks what your strength could never reach. Heaven is not only interrupting your timeline. Heaven is rewriting it. And where your plans once fell short, my divine design is unfolding. This cannot be replicated. This cannot be delayed. And this cannot be missed. I am not done speaking. And you, my child, are not done becoming. You need to understand this, my precious one. This word you're receiving, this message that's burning through your screen, pulsing in your spirit, shaking your very breath, it did not arrive through human crafting. It came through divine dispatch. I released this word like a lightning strike across the sky of your distractions. It cut through atmospheres, through barriers of fear, through veils of doubt, to land directly in your path. This is not just inspiration. This is intervention. And I sent it with urgency, because the weight of delay in this moment would be heavier than you know. You think you still have time, but time is not static. It breathes. It responds to the spiritual obedience of those I've chosen. Delay doesn't just hold back a blessing. It distorts the blueprint. If you remain where you are, frozen in indecision, tangled in distractions, stuck in comfort, you will not just miss something beautiful. You may find yourself repairing what was meant to be revealed. Yes, I can restore. But there are doors that were designed to open when your yes collided with now. There are scrolls sealed with this exact hour in mind. And I sent this word ahead, dispatched with supernatural speed, because I saw what you couldn't. I saw the traps forming under the disguise of comfort. I saw the distractions dressed as good opportunities. I saw the enemies gathering in silence, waiting for your delay to become their doorway. And child, hear me. This is not fear-mongering. This is prophetic urgency. This is me raising my voice not to scare you but to save you. There are moments where my whisper is enough. But then there are moments like this, when the temperature of time increases. When destiny is ripe for delivery, and I must shout through the heavens to rattle your soul awake. Delay, in this hour, is not neutral, is dangerous. Not because I'm threatening you, but because the spiritual realm doesn't stop spinning when you pause. Everything is moving. Assignments are moving. Angels are moving. The earth is groaning. And if you stand still while I move forward, you will feel the weight of being out of rhythm with me. That ache in your chest, the tightness in your thoughts, the silent tension that follows you, it's all connected to this moment. You're not going crazy. You're not overly emotional. You're hearing the sound of divine dispatch. The Spirit is bearing witness that something too important to miss is knocking on your soul. I know you want peace, child. But peace is not found in postponement. Peace is the reward of obedience. And your obedience is what heaven is waiting for. Not a future version of you. Not a poly version. Not a fearless version. Just you. As you are saying yes. I sent this word because delay has already taken too much from you. Years lost to indecision. Opportunities choked by overthinking. Dreams shelved out of fear of failure. Amor. I have broken through your timeline like a rescuer crashes through a burning house. The flames are not to be feared. They are burning away what can no longer stay. This word is your exit. This instruction is your escape. You don't have to know what comes next. You just have to move when I say move. You've waited long enough for confirmation. But now the delay is no longer waiting on me. It's waiting on your response. And if you will trust me with your yes, I will unlock what delay tried to bury. I will redeem the time, rearrange the pieces, and pour restoration in places delay tried to devour. But it begins with this. Take this word seriously. Act as if your future depends on it, because it does. Not because I'm threatening to leave, but because what I've timed for now is for now. My child, you've been wrestling with an invisible tension, haven't you? A stirring that won't settle. A restlessness that refuses to let you remain comfortable. You've wondered if you were losing your grip, if the internal pressure meant you were out of alignment. But I tell you this now with all the clarity of heaven's light: you're not unraveling, you're awakening. That trembling in your soul is not chaos. It's a call, a divine tap on the shoulder of your spirit. What you thought was discomfort is really destiny drawing near. The pressure is proof that heaven is moving, and your spirit knows what your mind hasn't caught up to yet. Something sacred is approaching. There is a spiritual dissonance you've been walking with, like trying to dance to music that no longer matches your steps. And you've questioned, why doesn't this feel right anymore? Why does what once satisfied now feel stale? Why does what once brought peace now feel like noise? That's because you've outgrown your old rhythms. You are no longer living in the season your surroundings reflect. You are being called upward, forward, deeper. And with that call comes divine agitation, not to torment you, but to transport you. The unrest isn't punishment. It's propulsion. Like birth pangs that signal a baby must be delivered, the shaking inside you is heaven's announcement. It's time. You see, I've placed a frequency inside your spirit that is tuned to divine timing. And that frequency hath been vibrating, not because something is wrong, but because something is ready. It's like a trumpet sounding in your soul, disrupting your routines, waking up the parts of you that were falling asleep in comfort. Do not call this confusion. Call it what it truly is: consecration. I am drawing you out of the crowd. I'm isolating your ears to hear me alone. I am increasing your sensitivity so you will no longer tolerate what weakens your spirit. You're not being dramatic. You're being delivered. At shaking, at questioning, at sacred unease. It's the sound of me calling you by name. You've been saying, I just want to go back to how it used to be. But I did not call you to go backward. I called you to be a bridge between what was and what will be. You are standing in the gap between old comforts and new callings. And I am stretching you on purpose. That tension is not the enemy. It is the evidence of transition. You're not being left behind. You're being lifted. You're not breaking apart. You're breaking through. Don't mistake divine discomfort for distance. I am not far. In fact, I'm closer now than you've ever felt me. And I'm using every ounce of unease to awaken you to the reality that you were made for more. So don't despise this discomfort. Don't rush to silence it. Don't drown it with distractions. Let it speak. Let it shake. Let it stretch you. Because this, beloved, is how I prepare those I trust. I stir before I send. I agitate before I anoint. I interrupt before I ignite. You're not crazy. You're called. And what you're feeling is me, wrapping your identity in fresh fire and awakening you from within. This is not confusion. It's calling. It's confirmation that I've begun the next chapter. And I'm not just turning the page, I'm writing the ending. There is something I must correct in you, child, not as a scolding, but as a sacred realignment. You've been calling what you feel anxiety, but it isn't. It's acceleration. You've been labeling your inner tremble as fear, but what you're feeling is the footsteps of fulfillment. That pounding in your chest. It's not panic. It's preparation. I'm speeding up what was once slow. I am unrolling the scrolls that have been sealed for generations, and your name is written in the lines. What you feel pressing on your ribs, pounding on the door of your mind, isn't stress, it's strategy. I am rearranging your future in real time. Can you sense it? The invisible hands shifting the furniture of your destiny, I am taking down what you built for survival and erecting what you will need for success. The scaffolding of old routines is being pulled down. The blueprint is being rewritten. And though you feel the instability under your feet, what you don't see is the foundation of favor forming beneath you. I have assigned angels to move the walls of your waiting. I've commanded heaven's architects to redesign the corridors of your calling. That's why everything feels off, because I'm turning the structure of your story into something stronger, larger, holier. You aren't falling apart. You're being fitted for fulfillment. You think you're behind, but what's actually happening is divine compression. I'm folding timelines. I'm accelerating answers. I'm shortening seasons because what I've called you to do cannot be delayed any longer. The shaking you feel is not warning. It is warfare. Not against you, but for you. Heaven is warring against everything that tried to rob you of this alignment. The pieces are not being lost. They are being locked into place. I am shaking the ceiling not to scare you, but to make room for the rising. Your atmosphere is changing. What was once out of reach is now being lowered to your level. The very things you once had to chase, they are chasing you now. But here's what I need you to understand. Acceleration feels like agitation when you're not expecting it. It feels like urgency. It feels like chaos. It feels like instability. But that's only because your soul is shedding old skin. I am increasing your capacity, not your pressure. I am enlarging your territory, not your tension. You've been praying for me to move, and now I am. But I'm not moving slowly. I'm moving with fire, with force, with finality. And that's why it feels fast. Because it is. Because it must be. The hour is late. The harvest is ready. And you, my beloved, are stepping into the speed of supernatural momentum. Let me say it clearly. The shaking you feel is not a sign that something is wrong. It is the signal that something is being released. You are not breaking down. You are breaking into the atmosphere of fulfillment. Every quiver in your spirit is confirmation that the womb of your waiting is dilating. It's time. It's happening. And it's moving faster than your fear. You don't need to keep up. You just need to keep saying yes. The acceleration won't crush you. It will carry you. The very speed that scared you will become the wind beneath your next leap. Trust me. I've timed this perfectly. Let the shaking shake off what no longer serves you. Let it usher you into the future that's already been rearranged with your name etched into every brick. There are moments when I speak like a breeze, subtle, soft, still. But not now. Not today. My child, I am not whispering anymore. I am roaring. And my roar is not one of anger but of urgency, authority, and unstoppable love. You have wandered too close to the edge of breakthrough for me to speak softly now. I am roaring because the noise of your surroundings has tried to drown me out for too long. I've whispered, I've nudged, I've sent signs, but now I am raising my voice not to startle you but to save you. This is a spiritual siren sounding above every other sound in your life. You've been surrounded by voices, advice, opinions, expectations, doubts, layered upon layer until you couldn't tell which one was mine. And for a time, I let the whisper test your discernment. But now, because too much is at stake, I will not whisper when the enemy shouts. I will not stay silent when your future is hanging in the balance. I am roaring because there are chains still clinging to your identity, lies still living in your atmosphere, and compromise trying to dilute your calling. And I refuse to let the enemy narrate your next chapter. I will not let fear have the final word. So I've come with a roar that shatters strongholds and silences confusion. You hear me now, beloved. It's not thunder you feel. It's truth crashing through delay. It's the sound of your Father breaking every limitation that tried to cage your courage. My roar has entered the room of your decisions, the space where you've been hesitating, negotiating, procrastinating. You've been trying to wait until you feel ready, but listen to me. Readiness does not precede the roar, it responds to it. When I roar, it awakens the readiness that's been buried under fear. It shocks your spirit into attention. It shakes off spiritual sleep. And right now, I am not asking you to process this word slowly. I am calling you to move with me immediately. And don't think for a second that my roar is distant. I am not shouting from afar off heaven. I am roaring right next to you, in your room, in your chest, in your thoughts. My voice is not merely speaking to you. It is rising from within you, because I live in you. And when I roar, it's not just a sound, it's a summons, a divine declaration that shifts everything in your atmosphere. You don't need a meeting. You need a moment. And this is that moment. Let the roar strip the scales from your eyes. Let it sever the ties that delay your destiny. Let it awaken the warrior you've been too afraid to unleash. Because I am roaring, and my voice will not be ignored. You've been praying, pleading even, Lord, just give me a sign. Just tell me clearly. And now here I am, standing in the middle of your ordinary with a word that is anything but. Let me be unmistakably clear, child. This is your confirmation. This moment, this message, this divine collision of time and spirit, it's not your imagination. It's not a coincidence. It is an appointed alignment, sealed by my authority. Stop questioning whether this is me. Stop dissecting every word to see if it fits your expectations. It's me. I am the one who orchestrated this. I'm the one who made sure you saw this now and not a second earlier or later. I don't deal in random. I deal in revelation. How many times have you said, God, if this is real, you make it plain? My beloved, what could be plainer than this fire flowing through your spirit right now? What could be clearer than the way your breath caught when you started reading? The way your tears started forming when your heart recognized the voice behind the words? That's me. I made you. I know how to speak in a way that your spirit can't ignore. This is the sign you asked for. This is the signal your soul has been begging for. Don't let your mind talk you out of what your spirit already knows is true. This is confirmation, and confirmation must lead to conviction. I'm not repeating myself for effect. I'm repeating myself because repetition is revelation. Confirmation is not about adding more information. It's about adding weight. Every word I speak carries the weight of eternity. You don't need 10 more signs to act. You need one true yes to move. This is it. You don't have to keep checking in with others, hoping someone will affirm what I've already confirmed. If you keep outsourcing your discernment, you'll miss the direct delivery of your destiny. I've removed the guesswork. I've eliminated the noise. This isn't a suggestion. It's a supernatural stamp of yes, pressed into the scroll of your spirit, sealed by my spirit. And child, listen, the reason this confirmation feels different is because it's not echoing from your surroundings. It's rising from your spirit. Confirmation isn't always external. Sometimes it's internal combustion. It's when your soul knows before your logic agrees. It's when peace arrives before proof does. That's the kind of confirmation I've just given you, one that bypasses the natural and grabs hold of the eternal. Don't question it. Don't water it down. Don't put it on a shelf labeled someday. This is your moment. This is your word. This is your yes. My beloved child, I need you to feel the weight of this moment, not to burden you, but to awaken you. The spiritual window that just opened above your life is not symbolic. It's not poetic. It's prophetic. There is a divine portal swinging wide over you, dripping with destiny, carrying answers that have waded through storms and silence. This window was not crafted in response to your need. It was written into your story before you ever drew your first breath. This is not an accident of alignment. This is eternity interrupting time. This window carries everything I preserved while you wandered, everything I planned while you wept, everything I whispered when you were too tired to listen. But hear me, this window will not stay open forever. The grace is real, but the timing is precise. This moment is not meant to terrify you, but it should tenderize you, because divine opportunities are not extended indefinitely. Just as the rain fell for 40 days and nights, and then stopped, so this window, though holy, is temporary. There is a sacred pressure I am placing on your heart, not to force you, but to form you. I've aligned people, places, provisions, and they are moving now, positioned with supernatural synchronicity. But without your obedience, they remain potential, not manifestation. You've said before, God, why did it happen then? And I tell you now, because then was not now. Then, your heart was still tethered to things I couldn't take with you into this next dimension. But today, the atmosphere shifted. The blueprint has been revealed. The hour has arrived. But, child, if you delay, if you hesitate out of fear, if you second-guess out of habit, if you ignore the whisper of urgency pounding like thunder in your chest, this open window may close while you wait for a better time. There is no better time. This is the divine time. The favor that's falling is specific. The alignment is unique. The timing is holy. Let me be even clearer. This is not manipulation. This is invitation. And that invitation hath been hand-delivered to your spirit. You will find it on someone else's page. You will hear it echoed in someone else's sermon. This is a custom door, carved for your fingerprints alone. But doors are not decorations. They are decisions. And decisions must be made in the time they are given. You can't live as though eternity bends to your convenience. That is not condemnation, beloved. That is clarity. This window is divine. It is drenched in answers. It is bursting with glory. But it is also counting down. Do not wait for me to shake the earth when I'm already shifting the heavens above you. Don't just admire the open window. Step through it. You've wondered, haven't you? Why hasn't God answered this yet? Why does He keep holding back when I'm ready to receive? You cried out with sincerity. You begged me to move. You asked me again and again to explain, to speak, to release. And I listened. I heard every whisper, every groan of the Spirit, every silent plea that you never voiced aloud. And now I will tell you the truth, full and unfiltered. I wasn't silent because I didn't care. I was silent because I did. What I'm releasing into your life is not light. It's not ordinary. It's weighty, holy, and wrapped in responsibility. And for me to release it before you were ready would have crushed you instead of crowned you. You see, child, there's a difference between being willing and being ready. Willingness is emotional. Readiness is spiritual. You were willing long ago, but now, after the crushing, after the pressing, after the purification of your motives, you are finally ready. Ready to carry the glory without ego. Ready to walk into the promise without forgetting the process. Ready to hold the weight without dropping the call. That's why the answers are being released now. not because I loved you more, but because I see that you now love me more than what you were asking for. And that's the kind of heart that can hold the weight of real glory. What I'm about to release is not trinkets and trophies. This is not the shallow yes of performance. This is the deep yes of fulfillment. These answers come attached to assignments. They carry oil, but they also carry warfare. And had I released them before this hour, you would have mistaken the gift as the goal, the calling as the destination. But now, you are walking humbly. You are carrying reverence. You are aware of what it costs to arrive here. And because of that, I can now entrust you with what I've kept under lock and key for so long. Heaven is not steady. I am not slow. I am strategic. And let me say this. You didn't miss it. You were being matured for it. Every unanswered prayer wasn't denial. It was delay with divine design. Every closed door wasn't rejection. It was redirection. Every season of silence was a sanctuary where I carved strength into your soul. And now the weight of what I'm releasing will rest on shoulders that know how to carry without collapsing. I'm not just giving you the answer. I'm giving you the authority to walk it out. This isn't a one-time blessing. This is a beginning, a birthing, a becoming. And it required the version of you that could stand under the weight of real glory. Adrian has emerged you, and the time has come. Child, do you feel it? The tightness, the stretching, the friction between who you are now and what you're still standing in. That discomfort isn't punishment. It's proof. You've outgrown the last season. The places you once called home are now echo chambers of memories, not momentum. The routines that once brought comfort now feel like cages. Even the voices that once calmed your fears are now starting to sound like noise. Why? Because your soul has expanded, your spirit has matured, your purpose has intensified, and the garments of your former season can no longer clothe who you've become. This is why your peace feels misplaced. It doesn't mean peace has left you. It means your placement has changed. Just as a child cannot remain in clothes they've outgrown, you cannot remain in cycles that no longer serve your call. That awkwardness you feel, that quiet dissatisfaction you keep trying to ignore. It's me. It's my spirit gently, but insistently, pushing against the walls of your old season. I'm shifting you. Not because you failed where you were, but because you fulfilled what was needed there. You passed the tests. You drank the cup. You endured the pruning. And now, beloved, I am calling you out of the familiar and into the fruitful. Do not romanticize your last chapter. Don't try to resuscitate what I've already released you from. I am not found in the places where I used to be. I am found in the movement, in the shift, in the forward pull of obedience. You've been praying for peace, and I've heard you. But peace is not a feeling I sprinkle like fairy dust. Peace follows placement, and placement follows obedience. So if you want your peace back, follow my positioning. Get out of what's expired. Leave the land of just enough. Release the relationships that keep rehearsing the past. I am not calling you to be reckless. I'm calling you to be responsive. Because what fit you then will choke you now. You don't need to feel guilty for growing. You don't need to apologize for evolving. You're not leaving people behind. You're answering the call to go ahead. And those who are meant to run with you will meet you in the momentum. This isn't ego. This is elevation. This is the sacred stretch of those who have been marked to multiply. You don't need another confirmation to walk out of what no longer feels like home. The unease was your confirmation. The lack of peace was my nudge. The tightness in your spirit wasn't a sign to stay. It was a sign to shift. You've outgrown it, child. And now grow forward. My child, you need to be vigilant in this hour. Not paranoid, but prophetic. Not afraid, but alert. The enemy has not launched obvious attacks. He has sent disguised distractions. They are polished, packaged, and presented like open doors. They look like favor. They sound like breakthrough. They come dressed in the costume of opportunity, but underneath, they are counterfeits. And if you do not stay close to my voice, if you do not discern with your spirit instead of your senses, you will waste energy chasing shadows instead of stewarding substance. The enemy is subtle. He does not shout, he suggests. He doesn't push, he persuades. That's why the distractions seem so attractive. They appeal to what you've been waiting for. They mimic what you've been praying about. But listen to me. Not every yes is mine. Not every open door was opened by heaven. Some doors lead to detours, and some opportunities are interruptions dressed as invitations. You've been asking me to bless your next step, but what if the next step isn't forward, but deeper? What if it's not about chasing the offer, but checking the origin? So here is what I'm doing. I'm exposing every counterfeit. I'm shining light on motives. I'm revealing hidden agendas. I'm whispering no when your emotions scream yes. I'm placing a holy discomfort in your gut every time you start leaning into something that's not from me. You've asked for discernment, and I am delivering it, even if it disrupts your plans. Because I love you too much to let you fall in love with something that was never sent from my heart. I am not trying to keep good things from you. I'm keeping God things for you. There is a difference, and only discernment can tell them apart. Beloved, you don't need every opportunity. You need the right one. You don't need every platform. You need the one with my presence. You don't need to prove your worth by saying yes to every door. You need to protect your calling by only walking through the ones I open. I've taught you how to hear me in the quiet. Now I'm teaching you how to hear me in the crowd, when multiple voices are calling, when offers look appealing, when urgency tries to pressure you into decisions. Slow down. Listen. Let me vet what you're being offered. If it's me, there will be peace. If it's not, there will be pressure. And pressure, beloved, is not my voice. Peace is. I will not let the enemy fool you. I will not allow you to be seduced by substitutes. I'm exposing every counterfeit. Because what I have for you is too precious to be traded for a knockoff. Stay close. Stay clear. Stay consecrated. The wheat and the weeds are growing side by side right now. But harvest is coming, and I'm separating what's divine from what's deceptive. Cuss the discomfort. Follow the check in your spirit. And remember, every good thing isn't God, but every God thing will always be good. My child, too many times you've waited for the fear to leave before you've dared to move. But this time, this divine time, I'm not asking you to wait until you're fearless. I'm commanding you to move while your knees are still trembling. Not because I want you to be reckless, but because I've ordered this moment with precision so holy, it cannot be missed. I'm not suggesting. I'm not nudging. I'm not merely prompting. I'm commanding. Not as a tyrant, but as the one who sees your whole story. As the one who knows that this step, taken now, will unlock a sequence of supernatural strategy that your hesitation could never access. You see, I don't operate in confusion. I operate in clarity laced with timing. And this timing, child, is not based on your comfort. It's based on kingdom alignment. You've prayed for my will. You've asked me to lead you. Well, this is how I lead, not always with calm waters, but with clear commands. And when I command you to move, I am not being cruel. I am being accurate. I know exactly when the gates are open. I know exactly when the hearts are soft. I know exactly when the resources are passing by. And I know that if you delay, the moment will shift, not because I punish you, but because my precision waits for no one. Don't get caught in the cycle of seeking clarity when I've already spoken. Don't let your intellect talk you out of what your spirit already confirmed. You say you're waiting for peace, but what if peace is waiting for you on the other side of obedience? The peace you crave doesn't precede the command. It follows the obedience. When the Israelites stepped into the Jordan, the waters parted, not before they moved, but because they move. That's what I'm calling you into. And a movement born of trust. Into obedience that doesn't need all the answers, just one clear yes. And child, I've already given you that yes. It's echoing in this message. It's pulsing in your spirit. It's burning in your chest. You know I'm speaking. So why are you still waiting? Don't confuse divine timing with indefinite delay. Delay is not always holy. Sometimes it's disobedience dressed up as discernment. I am commanding you to move not because you will miss my love if you don't, but because you will miss my best. You will miss the moment that was made for you. The moment that was molded around your yes. There are places your feet need to stand. There are people waiting on your voice. There are miracles assigned to your motion. But motion only happens when you obey the command to move. So child, move now. Not because you're ready, but because I am. Not because you're sure, but because I'm certain. Not because you're fearless, but because I am faithful. You feel it, don't you? The urgency. A shift. The pull of something eternal pressing against your present. Child, this moment is not just about you receiving. It's about you becoming a vessel to carry this emergency word to others who are still in the dark. I've called this message to move like fire, like wind, like a flood across the nations, but it travels on the wings of your obedience. As it is written, the generous will prosper. Those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed. Proverbs 11:25. I am the Lord your provider, and when you sow into this ground, you're not funding content, you're funding a rescue mission for souls. The oil you carry can be multiplied. The light you release can ignite others. But only if you act. Use the super thanks. Join as a member, or give through the PayPal link below, and watch me unlock divine favor and supernatural return. Obey now. Don't delay. The harvest is tied to your release. You've circled this mountain long enough, haven't you? Round and round. Second guessing. Starting and stopping. Dipping your toe in, then retreating. You've danced with indecision for too long, my child, and now the moment demands your full yes. Not a halfway commitment. Not a maybe. Not a when I feel more confident. This moment is sacred. History-shifting moment is demanding your entire surrender. And I don't mean surrender in theory. I mean yes with action. Yes with movement. Yes with follow-through. You've delayed because you thought you had more time. But now, the cost of hesitation has become too high. The decisions before you are not small. They are destiny level. And I'm not exaggerating. They affect more than just you. They touch generations you haven't met. They shift atmospheres you don't even realize you're influencing. That's why the pressure feels so real. It's not just about picking a path, it's about obeying a blueprint. Every time you pause in fear, you interrupt a chain of obedience I'm trying to activate through you. Hesitation fractures momentum. And when you hesitate too long, You start to call confusion what is really conviction. You say, "I'm not sure," when your spirit is screaming, "You already know." This isn't about uncertainty. This is about unwillingness to trust beyond what you can control. But hear me, child. If you want to live in the dimension of destiny, you must graduate from delayed obedience. Because delayed obedience is still disobedient. And I say this not with condemnation, but with compassion. You're tired because you're circling what I already gave you clarity on. You're drained because circling consumes more energy than commitment. If you would just say yes, fully, finally, fiercely, the wind of my spirit would catch your sails and carry you further in months than you've gone in years. But I cannot release that wind until your feet start walking in the direction I already confirm. You say you're afraid of missing it, but child, what you're really in danger of missing is me in the movement. I'm not just standing at the destination. I'm walking with those who obey me step by step. Don't fear the leap. Fear the cost of standing still when I said go. Fear the dullness that creeps in when you ignore conviction. Fear the decay that settles in hearts that once burned but now hesitate. But even now, I say to you, it's not too late. Your yes can still unlock the sequence. Your obedience can still realign the timing. But it must be a full yes. Not just emotional agreement, but spiritual activation. This is the moment where I draw a line, not to divide, but to decide. I'm asking you to choose, to step, to obey. Not because I want to pressure you, but because I want to position you. Your yes is the key. Your yes is the oil. Your yes is the tipping point. Let it be full. Let it be final. And let it be now. Beloved, I know there have been moments you've wondered why certain things felt just out of reach. Why, despite your faith, your fasting, your tears, and your obedience, there were still doors that didn't open. You questioned me in the quiet. Why haven't you told me more? Why haven't you shown me the full picture? And today, I want to answer with clarity and tenderness. I hid certain things from you, not because you weren't worthy of them, but because you weren't ready to hold them. What I've hidden wasn't meant to hurt you. It was meant to protect you from what your strength could not yet sustain. There is a sacred weight to the things I reveal. Revelation carries responsibility. When I unveil something, it comes with divine accountability, and I love you too much to place on you what would have crushed you prematurely. You see, I never deny my children what is good, but I often delay what is great until they're deeply rooted enough to handle it. Just as a parent hides sharp tools from a toddler, even though one day that child will need them to build, so I have withheld certain answers, outcomes, and assignments, not because I doubted you, but because I was developing you. Every no was not rejection. Every silence was not abandonment. It was preparation for a level you couldn't yet see. And now, child, I speak this with prophetic precision. You are entering the hour where what was hidden will begin to be revealed. Because your posture has shifted, your foundation has deepened, your faith has been refined in fire. The things I once kept veiled are beginning to lift. The scroll is being unsealed, and what seemed delayed is actually on schedule. You're not behind. You're right on time for what I've kept in reserve. But hear me. What I'm revealing will require maturity. It will demand purity. It will pull on your discipline. This isn't surface-level revelation. This is weighty glory, the kind that presses into you even as it elevates you. So don't resent the hidden seasons. They were holy. Don't despise the delay, it was my design. The pain of waiting is nothing compared to the power of walking in timed revelation. I don't just give gifts, I give timed releases. I withhold to protect. I delay to strengthen. I hide to humble. And now, what I'm bringing into the light will not slip through your fingers like it would have before. You'll carry it with honor. You'll walk in it with wisdom. And you'll look back and realize what I once called silence was actually strategy. What I called not yet was actually me saying, I love you too much to give you this too soon. And now, the season of unveiling has begun. You can feel it, can't you? The heat rising in your spirit, the tremble under your skin, the way ordinary words have suddenly become sacred. That's not emotionalism. That's not hype. It's fire. My fire. And it's falling, not to harm you, but to ignite you. You've walked through too much to remain lukewarm. You've survived too much to stay half awake. This moment is not a gentle whisper. It is a heavenly combustion. This is where the fire falls, and it will not leave you the same. But let me be clear. This fire is not judgment. It is refining. It is awakening. It is activation. I am burning off what has clung to you for far too long: fear, distraction, insecurity, comparison, procrastination. These things can no longer travel with you into the season that is opening before you. And fire is the only thing holy enough, pure enough, powerful enough to burn away what cannot remain. I am not sending fire to destroy you. I'm sending fire to mark you. This is your burning bush moment, the place where you encounter me in a way that changes the course of everything that comes after. And here is what you need to understand. Fire is not always comfortable, but it is always clarifying. It will show you what's real. It will strip the unnecessary. It will expose what has been tolerated for too long. But more than anything, it will awaken the parts of you that have been asleep, gifts buried under fear, callings shelved by disappointment, passions numbed by routine. I am reigniting it all. The flame is not outside of you. It's inside of you. My spirit is stirring in you with holy unrest, setting fire to your excuses and breathing life into your yes. This is not a feel-good moment. This is a holy fire moment. Fire that separates. Fire that sends. Fire that seals. You will not be the same after this. Not because you tried harder, but because you were consumed by the presence of a living God. You asked for more, and this is what more looks like. It looks like burning bushes, like upper rooms, like hearts set ablaze that can't go back to normal. This fire is not here for a visit. It's here to take over. Let it consume you, beloved. Let it do its work. Let it mark you so deeply that everything that touches you from this moment forward feels the heat of heaven. You must understand the magnitude of what I'm doing through you. This moment you're living is not isolated. It is part of something far bigger than yourself. When I chose you, I did not just see you. I saw every person your life would touch, every soul your obedience would impact, every atmosphere your presence would shift. That's why the weight feels heavy. That's why the warfare has been so fierce. Because what I've planted in you is not just personal, it's generational. You are carrying something holy, something that must be delivered, not just for your benefit, but for the healing of many. You see, your yes is a key, and that key doesn't just unlock your own doors. It unlocks doors for others, for people you don't even know yet, for prayers that haven't even been prayed yet. Your obedience creates ripples in the spirit that set captives free. That is why the enemy tried so hard to convince you you're unqualified. That is why you fought battles in silence, in secret places no one else could see, because the enemy knew that if you ever realized what was really attached to your obedience, you'd never hesitate again. He didn't just want to stop you. You wanted to stop the move of God that's about to break out through your life. I tell you now, with heaven's full authority, that you are a domino in divine sequence. When you move, things shift. When you obey, chains fall off others. There are people whose deliverance is locked inside your yes. This is why I am pressing you so strongly in this hour, not to burden you, but to wake you up to the reality that your life is not small. You may feel hidden, but you are not insignificant. You are not forgotten. You are strategically positioned. And what I've placed in you is not just for your survival, it's for their salvation. When you rise, others will rise. When you go, others will follow. When you break through, the gate opens behind you for many. So, child, don't treat your calling casually. Don't treat this moment as optional. The call on your life is multidimensional, and the fullness of it is beginning to unfold. I didn't just anoint you to feel me. I anointed you to represent me. I didn't just fill you with fire for warmth. I filled you to spread the flame. What I'm releasing through you will break cycles in your bloodline. It will awaken dreams in those who've been sleeping in despair. It will activate healing where generational wounds once lived. You are a carrier of this glory, and its glory meant to be shared. The weight is real because the impact is eternal. And I chose you to carry it, not because you were the most ready, but because you were the most willing. And to me, a willing heart is everything. There's something you need to know, my child, something you've misunderstood for too long. When I close a door, it's not always because of your failure. Often, it's because of your future. I see the whole picture. I see what's ahead. I see the detours hidden inside opportunities that look good but would have led you into cycles that steal your focus, your fire, and your favor. And in this season, I am shutting doors, not to punish you, but to protect the path. You may not understand it now. You may even mourn what's closing. But one day soon, you'll look back and thank me for every door I refused to let you walk through. You thought you needed those relationships, those platforms, those chances. You thought they were part of your rise, your breakthrough, your divine story. But I saw what you couldn't. I saw the hidden agendas. I saw the slow erosion of your purity. I saw how those open doors would have watered down your calling, how they would have seduced your attention, draining your spirit until the fire inside you faded into religious routine. So I shut them. And though it hurt, it was healing dressed in disguise. You called it rejection. I called it redirection. You called it loss. I called it leveling up. My beloved, if I ever deny you access, it's because I'm granting you alignment. You don't need every opportunity. You need the right one. You don't need every person. You need purpose partners who protect the purity of your anointing. You don't need to push every door open. I'm the one who holds the master key, and I will not let you settle for rooms beneath your destiny. What I've called you to walk in requires your full attention, your undivided devotion. So yes, I'm closing doors, and in doing so, I'm clearing your vision. I'm making space. I'm sanctifying your surroundings. I'm preparing the path so that when I do open the next door, you'll walk through it with nothing clinging to you from your past season. Listen to me. Closed doors are answers too. Don't resent them. Respect them. Don't try to pry them back open. Don't romanticize what I've removed. Some doors are beautiful distractions, crafted by the enemy to delay the destiny I planted in you. Others are simply not the right timing. But in either case, let them close. Let them lock. Let them fall away, because what I'm opening next will make you forget what you thought you lost. I'm not closing doors to take from you. I'm closing them because you're too close to divine release to get deterred now. Keep your hands open, child. Your destiny isn't behind the doors I closed. It's waiting behind the one I'm about to open, and that door was made just for you. My beloved, I see the wrestle in your heart. I see the unanswered questions, the tangled thoughts, the silent cries that echo, "Why, Lord? How is this part of the plan? Why did it have to happen like this?" And I say to you now, with the deepest love and holy fire, I'm not asking you to understand. I am asking you to trust me anyway. You've been waiting for clarity before you commit, for explanations before you move forward, for proof before you plant your feet in faith. But that's not how I operate. That's not what this moment demands. Because what I'm doing in your life right now is not always logical. It's prophetic. You've tried to make sense of what feels senseless. You've tried to find patterns in the pain, explanations in the silence, roadmaps in the fog. But hear me, some things won't make sense on this side of eternity. Some things won't be clear until the full story is told in heaven's language. And yet, even in the confusion, even in the not knowing, I am still worthy of your trust. You don't need to understand the storm to believe I'll carry you through it. You don't need to understand the loss to trust that I'm still writing your victory. My ways are higher, child. Not just better, higher. That means they won't always fit into the container of your comprehension. And they are not supposed to. Because if you could fully understand me, I wouldn't be God. I want you to release the pressure you've put on yourself to figure everything out. You don't have to hold it all together. You don't have to understand why I let certain doors close, why certain people left, why certain dreams seemed to collapse. You only need to trust that I was with you in all of it. Not one tear fell without me catching it. Not one night passed without me standing watch. And even when you thought I was silent, I was strategically working behind the veil. Because sometimes the most loving thing I can do is shield you from what your heart isn't ready to handle. To let go. Not of faith, but of your need to control the narrative. Trust me, not just when it makes sense, but especially when it doesn't. Because that is where real faith lives. Not in understanding, but in surrender. And beloved, when you surrender, I will show you things no logic could predict. I will elevate you beyond what your mind could reason. I will take the broken pieces you can't explain and weave them into a masterpiece you couldn't imagine. But it starts with this. Let go of understanding and hold on to me. I know what the enemy has been whispering. I know what your mind has replayed in the dark. You're too late. You missed your moment. Everyone else is ahead of you. Lies. Every one of them. I silence that voice right now with my own, because I am the God who redeems time. I am the God who writes timelines. And I say to you now, with absolute certainty, you are not behind. You are being accelerated by divine correction. What looks like delay in the natural is actually refinement in the spirit. And what seems like falling behind is actually me pulling you back like an arrow, preparing you to launch. The world has tried to measure your progress by earthly standards, career milestones, marriage timelines, financial benchmarks, ministry accomplishments. And when you didn't hit those markers on time, shame crept in and tried to claim your identity. But I don't measure time like man does. I don't grade you on speed. I form you through seasons. And some of your deepest growth happened when it looked like nothing was moving at all. But child, hear me now. What I've been doing in private is about to manifest in public. And it's not going to take years. It's going to happen in acceleration. because you humbled yourself in the process, because you allowed me to correct you, redirect you, prune you. I am now releasing divine momentum on your life. Not the momentum of striding, but the momentum of alignment. You're not going to have to push doors open. They're going to swing wide of their own accord. You're not going to have to compete. I'm going to crown you in the presence of those who doubted you. I'm not just redeeming the time you lost. I'm multiplying what comes next. What used to take years will take months. What used to feel impossible will now feel inevitable. Because I'm not operating by your old timeline. I'm operating by eternity's clock. So release the shame. Let go of the pressure. You're not behind. You're exactly where you need to be for me to do what only I can do. Your detours didn't cancel your destiny. They deepened your dependence. Your failures didn't disqualify you. They qualified you to carry the kind of glory that doesn't come from perfection, but from proximity. I'm about to place you in rooms you thought you missed out on. I'm about to birth dreams you buried in disappointment. Because this isn't just a comeback. It's a divine catch-up. You are being accelerated, not by hustle, but by my hand. So stop looking at the clock. Start looking at me. I'm the one who defines the timing. And I say now, I know how long you've waited. I know the moments you almost gave up believing. I watched you look back at old journals, rereading the words I once spoke to you, wondering, was that really God, or just wishful thinking? I watched as the years passed and the promise seemed to drift further into the distance, and doubt tried to whisper that maybe it was never real at all. But today, I speak with thunder in my voice and tenderness in my heart. I did not forget. Every word I promised you still stands. Every vision I gave you still breathes. Not one line of your destiny hath been erased. It has only been under construction. But hear me, the promise was never the problem. The preparation was. Because what I spoke over your life was never light. It was heavy with glory. It wasn't a cute dream, it was a covenant. And I don't hand out covenants like cheap inspiration. I protect them. I preserve them. I prepare you to carry them well. That's why the waiting wasn't wasted. It was weight training. You've been lifting pain, discipline, surrender, obedience. All the things that forge a soul capable of handling what's holy. I wasn't withholding out of cruelty. I was forming you with precision. Because to release the promise too soon would have crushed you instead of crowned you. Do you remember how you used to pray? God, I want to be used. God, do whatever it takes. God, let your will be done. You said yes to me, not knowing that yes would take you through fire, not knowing it would strip you, shape you, silence you in seasons. But I honored your yes. And now, you stand at the edge of something you once only dreamed of, but you're not the same person anymore. You're stronger, softer, wiser, quieter in ego, louder in faith. You are no longer just waiting for the promise. You are becoming the vessel that can carry it with purity, power, and purpose. So no, child, I didn't forget. I was preparing. And the time of fulfillment is not coming. It's already begun. You are walking into rooms I reserved for your arrival. You are stepping into promises that were sealed with your name long before the foundation of the world. But this time, you're not entering as someone clinging to a prophecy. You're entering as someone clothed in purpose. Because you don't just want the gift anymore. You want me. And that, beloved, was always the true promise. I've heard the way you speak about yourself. I've seen the labels you've picked up from seasons of pain. Broken, not enough, too late, too flawed, too far gone. But today, I want to speak into that identity with the full force of heaven's authority. Stop calling yourself what I never named you. You are not broken. You are not too damaged. You are not beyond repair. You are becoming. And what looks like brokenness to you is often transformation in progress to me. You are clay in the hands of a holy potter. And while the shaping hurts, the end result will carry my fingerprints in every detail. Yes, you've been shattered in places. Yes, there are fractures in your soul where disappointment leaked in. But beloved, brokenness is not failure when it's placed in my hands. In fact, I do my best work in broken things. I multiplied bread when it was broken. I healed hearts through a Savior whose body was broken. I build altars from pieces that once looked unredeemable. So don't you dare let your wounds define your worth. You are not discarded. You are being designed. Your scars are not shameful. They are the signatures of survival. They are the map of where you've walked and the evidence of where I met you in the dust and carried you through. I never once asked you to be perfect. I never required flawlessness. What I've always wanted was your yes, your surrender, your willingness to be molded. That is what I call beautiful. That is what I call holy. And child, the process may feel messy, but the outcome is majestic. Don't rush it. Don't curse the in-between. Don't call yourself names that shame you back into hiding. I call you chosen. I call you healed. I call you rising. You are not what happened to you. You are not what you lost. You are not even who you were last year. You are becoming, and becoming takes time. So speak life over yourself again. Look in the mirror and speak what I speak. I am being renewed. I am under construction. I am healing. I am becoming what God saw in me before I even saw it myself. Stop aligning your identity with your lowest moments. Align it with my voice. Because I don't see your mess. I see your mission. I don't see your cracks. I see the oil that will flow through them. And I am not ashamed of your journey. I've been in it all along. I call you becoming. And what you're becoming is far greater than you can even imagine. I've heard your cries. I've watched the tears roll down your cheeks when no one else was around. God, give me strength, you whisper. I can't keep doing this. But here's what I need you to know. You don't need more strength. You need to access the strength I already placed inside you. I didn't anoint you halfway. I didn't give you partial power. When I called you, I filled you. When I marked you, I equipped you. The strength you're asking for isn't delayed. It's dormant. And this season is about awakening it. You've been waiting for a feeling. You've been hoping for a rush of energy, a moment where you feel powerful. But real strength is not always a feeling. It is a choice. A holy decision to believe me, to trust what I've said about you, even when everything around you suggests otherwise. And that strength is already yours. I put it there when you were formed. It's in your spiritual DNA. It's the same strength that allowed David to face Goliath when everyone else ran. It's the same power that raised Christ from the grave. And child, that power is living in you. Not just visiting, living. The problem isn't your lack of strength. It's your lack of recognition. You've mistaken weariness for weakness. You've allowed the enemy to convince you that just because you feel tired, you must be incapable. But child, even lions get tired. Even warriors weep. Strength is not the absence of exhaustion. It is the decision to keep standing anyway. You are stronger than you think because I am the one who strengthens you. And I don't strengthen you like the world does. I don't push out motivation over your wounds. I infuse your bones with glory. I breathe resolve into your lungs. I light fire in your spirit that doesn't flicker with fatigue. It blazes through it. So stand, child. Not because you feel ready, but because I've already declared you victorious. Don't wait for the storm to stop. Rise in the middle of it. Don't wait to feel like a giant. Move like one, and the feelings will follow. What I've placed in you is not breakable, is unshakable. But it's time to stop begging for what you already possess. Start activating it. Speak it. Walk in it. You don't need more strength. You need more awareness of what I've already given. And when you walk in that awareness, you'll look at the mountain and realize it's not as big as it looked when you thought you were small. Now you know you're not small. You're my warrior. And your strength is rising. You felt me shaking the patterns, breaking cycles, and calling you higher, not just for your own freedom, but to become a conduit of freedom for others. This message is not entertainment. It is an alarm, a divine signal meant to reach people on the edge of collapse, the brink of giving up. And child, I've chosen you to help carry it. How beautiful are the feet of those who bring good news, Romans 10:15. And when you give, you're not tipping a messenger. You're becoming one. When you sow, you activate kingdom economy, rivers flowing back into your life in ways no earthly system could measure. Move now. Use the super thanks, join the membership, or sow through PayPal. This is not a fundraiser. This is a fire spreading. And I've placed the match in your hand. Light it now. Let me speak clearly now, child, because this next word is both surgical and sacred. You felt the interruptions, the sudden changes, the holy disruptions. You thought you were losing control. You thought maybe you were under attack. But I want you to know the truth. I've been the one interrupting your patterns. Because while routine can be helpful, unchallenged patterns can become cages. And I love you too much to let you remain trapped in cycles that feel comfortable but are keeping you from consecration. You've outgrown the things that used to sustain you. What once helped you now holds you. The people, the rhythms, the distractions you once managed, now they manage you. You say, but God, I've always done it this way. And I say, that's why I'm shifting it. Because what I'm calling you to next requires flexibility in your spirit and fire in your feet. You cannot carry fresh oil while clinging to expired habits. You cannot host my glory while building altars to your comfort. That's why I've been tearing down the familiar, not to punish but to prepare. These divine disruptions you've been experiencing, they are love in motion. I've closed doors, stirred restlessness, removed certain people, and dried up certain wells because I'm trying to wake you up to the urgency of this hour. Patterns create grooves in your spirit, and if those grooves don't lead to me, they become trenches you cannot climb out of. And so I'm digging new trenches. I'm carving out space for fresh revelation. I'm turning your eyes from repetition to revelation, from autopilot to alignment. I'm not interested in your rituals. I'm calling for your response. This is not a season to default. This is a season to discern. And child, if you pay attention, you'll begin to recognize the difference between my interruptions and the enemy's interference. I never interrupt without purpose, and I never shake without intention. I am shaking the patterns that have lulled you into passivity. I am unsettling the ground where you've built shallow stability. Because I want more for you. I want depth, awakening, activation. And if I have to break your rhythm to build your resolve, I will do it. Not because I'm cruel, but because I'm committed to your calling. You will not stay stuck. You will not stay asleep. I've interrupted the cycle. Now walk into your release. My child, you've been asking why everything around you has been trembling. Why your safe places feel unstable. Why relationships, routines, finances, and even faith foundations have felt like they've been stretched to the point of snapping. I hear you. I see you standing in the middle of it all asking, God, what are you doing? And I answer now with fire and clarity. I sent the shaking not to break you, but to reveal what cannot be shaken. I am the one who stirs what you've tried to keep still, because what's anchored in me cannot be lost. But what you've anchored in people, performance, or false peace, it must be tested. You see, shaking is not judgment. It is mercy. It is divine clarity wrapped in disruption. I shake to show you what's stable. I shake to expose what you've relied on more than me. I shake to strip false security, not because I want to see you fall, but because I want to see you stand. Stand on solid rock, not on crumbling sand. I allowed the storm not to destroy your house, but to reveal what it was built on. You prayed for strength. You prayed for truth. But I answer prayers not with comfort, but with construction. And sometimes, before I build something new, I must first shake what was never meant to stay standing. The shaking revealed some painful things, didn't it? It showed you the friendships that were seasonal, the habits that were harmful, the beliefs that were built more on fear than faith. And yes, some things collapsed. Some things left. Some things cracked wide open. But child, look closer. What remained? Your faith. Your fire. Your whisper of God. I still believe when everything else was screaming doubt. That, beloved, is what I was after. The unshakable part of you. The part that wasn't moved. The part that stood. The part that is now ready to be trusted with more. So don't resent the shaking. Rejoice. Not because it felt good, but because it proved something eternal. You are more stable than you thought. You're not as fragile as fear told you. What shook around you was only clearing space for what is about to fall upon you. I had to shake the counterfeit to make room for the authentic. I had to disturb your comfort to secure your calling. Because where I'm taking you, you can't carry things that collapse under pressure. I'm rebuilding you on solid ground. On covenant. On me. So let the shaking do its work, then step forward, child. Not with fear, but with fire in your bones and truth under your feet. I know how painful the silence has felt. I know what it's done to your confidence, your clarity, your hope. You asked me where I went. You wondered if I stopped speaking, if you did something wrong, if the connection had been cut. And I want to meet you in that ache right now and say this with unwavering love. I was never silent. I was still, because sometimes stillness speaks louder than sound. I didn't leave. I didn't grow cold. I wasn't ignoring you. I was inviting you into deeper hearing. Because what I'm forming in you now cannot be caught in the noise. It must be forged in the hush of holiness. You're used to my voice through thunder and fire. You're used to dreams, visions, and goosebump moments. But child, sometimes I speak in the whisper, and await you, in the space between what was and what's coming next. You've mistaken quiet for absence, but in reality, it's been sacred intimacy. I've been near, nearer than ever, but I've been drawing you into a different kind of conversation. Not one filled with constant confirmation, but one built on trust. Silence. Stillness. Presence. Because what you're stepping into requires not just knowledge of my voice, it requires confidence in my heart. You see, when you can still believe me in the silence, that's when you're ready for the sound again. When you can still worship when there's no thunder, that's when the heavens begin to open. The silence has been refining your ears, training your discernment. You used to chase prophetic words to feel safe, but now I'm making you secure in my presence alone. You used to beg for direction, now you're learning to abide. I'm not raising a servant who only moves when they hear. I'm raising a friend who knows my mood, my breath, my timing, even when it's unspoken. So don't fear the quiet. Don't mislabel it. Don't let the enemy convince you that silence equals distance. I'm in the stillness. I've been singing over you in frequencies you can't hear but your spirit feels. I've been depositing peace where words would have only added noise. And I tell you now, sound is coming. Direction is coming. A pouring is coming. But until then, rest in this. I'm not just the God who speaks in fire. I'm the God who whispers in the wind. And in this silence, I'm not distant. I'm closer than your next breath. I know the pain feels heavy right now. I know you're walking through a season where every step feels like a stretch. Every day feels like it costs more than the last. You're not just tired. You're worn. Not just waiting. You're aching. And you've been praying, God, just get me through this. But today, I need you to hear this with fire in my voice. I'm not just trying to get you through this. I'm trying to transform you through it. This isn't just survival training. This is holy transformation. I'm not just walking you out of a storm. I'm forging you into someone who can command storms to stop. What you're going through is not pointless. It's precise. The pain hasn't been random. The tension hasn't been a mistake. Every ounce of pressure has been permitted, not to crush you, but to shape you. I'm not the God who wastes suffering. I'm the one who turns graves into gardens, ashes into beauty, heartbreak into healing oil. What the enemy meant to weary you, I'm using to weaponize you. You don't realize it yet, but while you've been praying for relief, I've been building resilience. You thought I was ignoring your cries, but I've been responding with upgrades to your character, your spiritual stamina, your clarity, and your discernment. You've seen this season as an obstacle. I see it as an altar, a place where your old self dies, and the version of you I always dreamed into being finally rises. You're not coming out of this the same. You won't even recognize the version of you that entered this storm, and that's the point. I'm transforming your reactions, your responses, your default thoughts, and the posture of your heart. You're going to exit this trial with a mantle, not just a memory. You'll carry wisdom you couldn't have learned in the calm. You'll speak with authority you didn't have in the last season. Because you allowed me to do more than just get you through. You allowed me to go deep and remake you from the inside out. So stop seeing this season as a detour. It's a divine forge. And I'm standing in the fire with you, child. My hands are on the hammer, but my eyes are on you, not with distance, but with delight. Because I see what's forming. I see the fireproof version of you rising. I see the oil thickening. And I know this, when you emerge, you won't just say, I survived. You'll say, God transformed me. I am not who I was. And who he's all alone. Let's talk plainly, child, because I know what's been happening in your mind. You've been scrambling for new answers, for new blueprints, for new strategies. You've been restless, thinking that maybe you missed a step, that maybe it's time to pivot, to reinvent, to start from scratch. But today, I need to reach in with truth and say this. You don't need a new plan. You need to go back to the last thing I told you. Because clarity doesn't always come through change. Sometimes it comes through consistency. You see, I'm not confused. I don't double-speak. I don't change direction just because the terrain gets difficult. I gave you that word, that instruction, that burden, that calling, for a reason. But somewhere along the way, fatigue set in. Resistance rose. The waiting wore you down. And slowly, subtly, you began to question, was that really you, God? You started second-guessing the assignment because the path wasn't easy. But my child, obedience was never supposed to feel like convenience. It was supposed to feel like faith. And faith often feels like standing still on a word that doesn't always give you all the details up front. You've been saying, God, what's next? But I'm saying, go back. Go back to the place where my voice was clear. Go back to the instruction you haven't fully walked out. Go back to the vision I gave you in the quiet. Because your next is hidden inside your last instruction. The clarity you're desperate for won't come by moving on. It will come by pressing in. I'm not withholding the next step. I'm just waiting for you to finish the one you laid down when it got hard. I don't change my mind. I build your maturity. Child, unfinished obedience is still disobedience. And I'm not saying this to shame you. I'm saying it to reawaken your conviction. Because your life is too important to keep circling in confusion, when what you need is already written on the wall of your memory. You don't need to chase every new word. You need to honor the last one. Dig it back up. Dust it off. Write it on your mirror. Pray it again. Live it again. And watch, once you realign, momentum will return. You don't need a new plan, child. You need to remember my plan, the one I never stopped believing in, even when you did. You've been praying with such urgency. God, open the door. Show me the path. Lead me to the opportunity. And while I hear you, while I love your heart to move with me, I need you to pause and receive something far greater than what you've been asking for. You keep asking me to open doors. But child, I am making you the door. You were never meant to simply walk through favor. You were meant to become the gateway through which others find me, find healing, find freedom, find purpose. The doors you're seeking, some of them don't exist yet. Not because I'm withholding, but because you're the one I've chosen to build them. You're not just called to enter systems, you're called to reform them. You're not just called to find the right rooms, you're anointed to create new rooms. Rooms for the broken. Rooms for the forgotten. Rooms for those who have been waiting for someone like you to blaze a trail where none existed. You've mistaken delay for denial. But I was never denying you access. I was training you for architectural authority. I wasn't saying no to the door. I was saying yes to the mantle that would make you the access point for others. You've been walking through this life thinking you were just another person trying to get in. But in my eyes, you are a spiritual portal. When you step into a place with obedience and authority, heaven enters with you. Chains break. Clarity comes. People weep and don't know why, because they walked through you and encountered me. That's what happens when someone becomes a door. And child, that's what I've been forging in you. Every rejection, every delay, every time a door slammed in your face, it wasn't punishment. It was preparation. You had to feel what it's like to be locked out so you would build a place where no one gets left behind. So stop asking for open doors. Start becoming one. Stand in your calling like a frame on sacred hinges. Let your life swing wide with welcome. Let your obedience echo with invitation. I will still open some doors for you, yes, but the greatest move of your life will come not when you walk through one, but when someone else walks through you and finds me waiting on the other side. You are not just a recipient of access. You are a divine gateway. and the door of your destiny. It has your own name carved on it. Let me speak now to the part of you that's discouraged, the part that wonders if your efforts matter, the part that looks at what's visible and thinks, surely I should be further along by now. You've been measuring your progress by numbers, outcomes, applause, results. But I tell you today, as your creator, as the one who sees the hidden dimensions of your journey, stop measuring your success by what you can see. Because the most important things I've been doing in you, they've been happening underground. Like a seed buried in the soil, your growth hasn't been visible. But that doesn't mean it's not real. In fact, it's more real than the surface-level success the world applauds. While others were chasing platforms, I was building your root system. While others were focused on performance, I was anchoring your soul. While the world couldn't see you, I was strengthening you in the unseen. Because fruit that grows fast without roots falls fast in the storm. And you, child, are called not just to rise but to remain. You outlast, to endure. And for that, you had to go deep before you could go high. That's why I've hidden you. That's why I've delayed certain platforms. That's why I've allowed seasons where it felt like nothing was working, not because you were failing, but because I was doing a kind of deep work that would have been sabotaged by early exposure. I wasn't holding you back. I was holding you safe when your foundation was being poured. Your character, your heart, your motives, your integrity have been inspecting every layer, not to disqualify you, but to ensure that when I do elevate you, you'll have the roots to survive it. And now, the shift is near. You're going to begin seeing the sprouts, the fruit, the tangible evidence of everything that's been forming in the secret place. But don't get addicted to visibility. Don't trade your root life for a rush to the spotlight. The depth you've cultivated is holy ground. You've let me dig deep, and because of that, I'm about to stretch you wide. What others built in the rush of ambition, you will build in the rhythm of divine timing. So don't resent the underground. That's where kings are hidden. That's where warriors are trained. That's where I hid you, not because you were weak, but because you were worth the wait. Let this sink deep, child, deeper than your insecurities, deeper than your regrets, deeper than the old names you've carried like chains. You are not who you used to be. I don't care what your history says. I don't care what your past behaviors tried to define. I don't even care what label shame tried to tattoo on your spirit. The moment I laid my hand on you, the moment I called your name in the secret, everything about your identity was rewritten. Not by the world's metrics, but by my mouth. You are not who you were. You are who I have always seen, and you are becoming her, becoming him, right now. Yes, I saw the mistakes. Yes, I saw the years wasted in compromise. Yes, I saw the nights you collapsed in regret and called yourself broken. But child, redemption rewrites everything. What the enemy labeled disqualified, I called destined. What others called too far gone, I called in progress. Every scar you carry, I am turning into strategy. Every failure, I'm turning into fuel. And every no spoken over you, I've been turning into a roaring yes in the courts of heaven. You are not the sum of your worst moments. You are the unfolding of my eternal dream. You thought I loved the cleaned up version of you. You thought I only delighted in you once you had it all together. But I've loved every version. Even the one that stumbled, that doubted, that nearly gave up. And now, you're standing in a moment of divine awakening. The realization that I've never defined you by your brokenness. I've always defined you by your becoming. You are becoming bold, becoming whole, becoming wise, becoming who I formed in the womb and anointed in the wilderness. You are not your former self, and don't you dare let the past speak louder than my promise. So rise, and when the voice of the past tries to creep in, speak back with my words, that is no longer who I am. I am who he called. I am who he is shaping. I am chosen, becoming, and unstoppable. You are walking forward, not just with revelation, but with a mantle. You've been marked, set apart, set ablaze. The old version of you can't come with you. And that's good, because what I'm doing now requires someone fully awake, fully yielded, fully you, the real you, the royal you, the reborn you. And child, I am proud of you. Heaven is proud. All of this, it's just the beginning. You are not who you used to be, you are my becoming, and I call you glorious. You heard every word. You felt my voice burn through every layer of your soul. You are no longer the same, and now, child, I'm calling you to be part of the wildfire. This word is an emergency broadcast from heaven, and I'm asking you to help me push it deeper into the earth. When you sow, you're not just giving, you're sending. Sending light into dark places. Sending manna to the hungry. Sending oil into dry bones. I declare over you, give, and it will be given to you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Luke 6:38. I will protect your seed, multiply your sacrifice, and surround your life with favor. Give now, through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal. Don't hesitate. Don't delay. This is holy ground, and I'm watching who steps forward. Before you leave this moment, child, don't stay silent. I've just released 30 divine instructions into your spirit, and now I'm calling you to seal it with declaration. If you're ready to walk through this emergency moment with boldness, readiness, and fire, then comment below. I'm ready, Lord. I hear you and I'm moving now. Let the very words from your mouth become a prophetic signal to heaven that you are not shrinking back. This isn't just a comment, it's a covenant. So speak it boldly, speak it publicly, and let every demon and delay know you've heard my voice and you are responding. Now lean in closer, my child. Quiet the noise around you for just this moment and listen to the sound of my voice. This is an emergency, not with the loud sirens and flashing lights of your world, but with a deep, soul-shaking urgency that I am pressing into your spirit right now. Can you feel it? Look at the world around you. Do you not see how the shadows are growing longer? The sun is setting on an age, and the twilight deepens. This is not a time for fear, it is a time for awareness. I have etched signs into the very fabric of your days, not to terrify you, but to awaken you with a father's love. You see them in the headlines. You feel them in the shifting culture. You sense them in the growing desperation of a world that has lost its way. This is not a call from some distant preacher or a frantic voice on your screen. This summons, my beloved, is coming directly from the throne room of heaven, from my heart to yours. It is a clarion call to shake off the heavy slumber that has settled upon you. I see you, my precious one. I see the weariness in your soul. I see how the routine of your days has become a comfortable, warm blanket. You wake up, you rush through your tasks, you deal with the pressure at your job, you navigate the unspoken tensions in your family, and you fall into bed, exhausted, promising that tomorrow you will spend more time with me. Tomorrow you will pray more. Tomorrow you will open my word. But tomorrow becomes today, and the cycle continues. That comfortable blanket has become a covering of complacency, and you have been sleeping while the world darkens. The time for that is over. The spiritual atmosphere grows heavy, like the air before a great storm. Do you feel that knot in your stomach when you think about the future? Do you sense that static charge in the air when all is quiet? That isn't from me. That is the pressure of what is coming, and it is a sign that the time for passive, comfortable belief has expired. Simply calling yourself mine is no longer enough. Attending a service once a week is no longer enough. Your faith cannot be a hobby you attend to when you have spare time. It must become the very foundation of your existence, the very air you breathe. So I am calling you now. Stand up. Shake off the dust of slumber. Open your spiritual eyes and see the lateness of the hour. This is an invitation to prepare, to strengthen what remains. I am asking you to prepare the foundation of your heart. What have you built your life upon? Is it your career? The approval of others? Your own ability to handle things? All of that is shifting sand, my child, and the tide is coming in. A wind is rising that will test every structure, and the waves are gathering to crash against every shore. Only what is built on the solid rock of who I am will stand. This is your emergency warning. This is your moment to awaken, to turn to me with all your heart, and to allow me to secure your foundation before the storm breaks. Do not delay. The time to prepare is now. Now that you are awake, you must anchor yourself. The storm I speak of is not just of wind and rain, but of confusion and deceit. Voices are multiplying, each one claiming to hold the truth, each one pulling for your attention. You hear them on your news feeds, you see them in the videos you scroll, you absorb them in conversations with friends who are adrift. They offer opinions that change like the shifting desert sands, one day proclaiming one thing as truth, the next day another. My child, you cannot build your life on this. I have given you something solid. I have given you my word. Do not treat my scriptures as a dusty book on your shelf, something to be opened only when you feel religious. It is not merely a collection of stories and rules. It is living and active. It is the very breath your spirit needs to survive what is coming. Every other source you drink from is polluted. The streams of worldly opinion are filled with fear. The rivers of popular culture are contaminated with pride and impurity. They will quench your thirst for a moment, but they will leave your soul sick and weak. You must cease from drinking there. I have opened for you a pure fountain of life. Drink deeply from my word every single day, and you will find it is the only water that can truly satisfy your soul's thirst. Your house, the very structure of your life and beliefs, must be built upon the solid rock of my eternal truth. That feeling of anxiety about your finances, anchor yourself in my promise that I am your provider, that I will supply all your needs. That fear that grips you when you think about your family's future, hold fast to my promise that I am a shield around you and them, that my plans for you are for good and not for disaster. My promises are your fortified anchor in this coming tempest. But an anchor is useless if you don't know where to find it in the ship's hold. You must know them intimately. This is not a suggestion. It is a command born of love. Grasp the sword of the Spirit, which is my word, for it is your only offensive weapon. When the enemy whispers the lie, you are not good enough, you must be ready to answer with my truth. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. When the accusation comes, your past mistakes define you. You must have my word on your lips to declare, there is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. This is a battle, and I am arming you. Memorize the verses of my power. Write them down, put them where you can see them, speak them out loud until they become more real to you than your own fears. Do not see this as a tedious chore. You are loading your weapon. And I promise you, in the moment of crisis, when you are blindsided by a trial and your mind goes blank, my Spirit who lives in you will recall them to you. He will bring the exact truth you need to the forefront of your mind to fight and to win. Anchor yourself in my word, my beloved, for everything that can be shaken will be shaken, but my truth will remain. My child, let us speak of prayer. You have been taught that prayer is an event, a time you set aside, a ritual you perform. But I am calling you to something deeper. Prayer is not a ritual. It is the vital, moment-by-moment communion between your spirit and mine. It is the breath of your new life. You do not schedule time to breathe. You simply do it, constantly, to stay alive. This is what your prayer life must become. I am calling you to establish a secret place of intimacy with me. This isn't just a physical closet or a corner of your room, but a sanctuary within your own heart that no darkness can breach, a place you can retreat to in the middle of a chaotic workday, in the midst of a difficult conversation, in the silence of a sleepless night. This is your command post, your place of refuge, and it must be built and maintained daily. Your prayers must transcend the list of things you want from me. I already know what you need. I long to hear your heart. Tell me about the frustration you felt in traffic. Share with me the small joy you saw in the smile of a stranger. Confess the flicker of envy or anger that you felt. This is not a formal report to a distant king. This is a ceaseless conversation with your Father who loves you. Do you understand that your prayers are powerful? They are not just wishes sent into the void. When you prayed, you are shaping the spiritual landscape. When you stand in the gap as an intercessor for your family, for your friends who are lost, for your nation, you are partnering with me to push back the darkness. Your prayers matter more than you could ever comprehend. Therefore, you must also learn to listen. The world is screaming for your attention, and its roar is deafening. But my voice is often a still, small whisper. You will never hear it if you do not cultivate silence. Turn off the noise. Put down your phone. Sit in the quiet and just be with me. At first, your mind will race, the silence will feel uncomfortable. But persist. In that stillness, I will speak guidance, comfort, and strategy to your heart. Your connection to me through prayer is your lifeline. Imagine you are climbing a treacherous mountain in a blinding blizzard. You would not for a single second let go of the rope that connects you to your guide. Prayer is that rope. Do not let it go. Cling to it. Let your day begin, continue, and end with this open line of communication. It is this constant connection that will hold you fast when the great winds of the coming storm begin to blow. Fortify your spirit, my child, for the strength you need will be found on your knees. My beloved, we must speak plainly about your heart. You cannot carry the light of my kingdom while your other hand holds tightly to the darkness of this world. The time for straddling the fence is over. You have tried for too long to serve me and to serve the spirit of this age. You want my blessings, but you also want the world's approval. You want my peace, but you still indulge in the world's anxieties and entertainments. This division in your heart is a weakness the enemy will exploit. The call for this hour is a mandate of purification. I am summoning you to a standard of holiness that you absolutely cannot achieve on your own. Notice I did not say you must make yourself holy. I said you must consecrate yourself, which means you must set yourself apart for me and allow my Spirit to do the cleansing work. Present your body, your eyes, your ears, your hands, your mind, as a living sacrifice. This is a daily choice. What are you watching that dulls your spirit? What are you listening to that plants seeds of cynicism and impurity in your heart? Flee from these subtle poisons. They defile the temple where my Spirit is meant to dwell in fullness and power. This call to purity is not a burden. It is an invitation to freedom. I want you to embrace daily repentance, not as a sorrowful duty, but as a joyful turning towards my cleansing light. When my spirit convicts you of a sharp word, a selfish motive, or a moment of pride, do not hide in shame. Run to me immediately. Agree with me about the wrong, receive my forgiveness, and feel the joyful release of being clean again. Now, we must go deeper. You must allow me to help you uproot the hidden idols in your heart. An idol is anything you look to for comfort, security, or identity apart from me. The idol of comfort whispers, "Don't do that hard thing I'm calling you to do. Stay where it's easy." The idol of pride insists, "You need to be right in this argument. Your reputation is on the line." Perhaps the deepest idol for many is unforgiveness. That person who hurt you, that wound you keep replaying in your mind. By refusing to release them, you have built a shrine to your pain, and you are worshiping your right to be angry. You have caged your own soul. My child, tear down these idols. They occupy the place in your heart that rightfully belongs to me alone. Give me your comfort. Give me your need to be right. Give me your pain and your unforgiveness. Let me be your all. A pure vessel is one that is empty of self and filled with me. That is the vessel I can use in this final hour. My child, listen to me. You are entering a battle. This is not a metaphor for the small struggles of your day. It is a spiritual reality. And you must not, you cannot, enter this battle in your own strength, for you will be swiftly and surely overcome. Your good intentions are not enough. Your willpower is not enough. I have provided for you a suit of divine armor, and it is an emergency that you learn to put it on every single day. Do not treat this as a fairy tale. You would not walk out into a blizzard without a coat. Do not walk out into your day, into a world filled with spiritual hostility, without your spiritual armor. It is not an option. It is your essential protection. First, you must gird your loins with the belt of truth. Deception is the enemy's native tongue, and he is whispering lies to you constantly. My truth is what holds everything else together. It is the unshakable reality that I am good, my word is final, and you are who I say you are. Without this belt, all the other pieces will be loose and ineffective. Next, guard your heart with the breastplate of righteousness. Your heart is the primary target of the enemy. He wants to fill it with accusation, condemnation, and shame. This breastplate is not your own goodness. Your own righteousness is as filthy rags. This is the perfect righteousness of my Son, Jesus, that I have given to you as a free gift. When you wear it, the accuser's darts cannot penetrate, because he is not attacking your flawed record, but the perfect record of Christ. Then, shod your feet with the preparation of the gospel of peace. In a world of chaos and strife, this is what gives you a firm footing, an unshakable stability. You can stand firm against the onslaught because your purpose is rooted in my eternal gospel. At every moment, you must raise the shield of faith. This is what you will use to extinguish every single flaming arrow the enemy fires at you. And he will fire them. The arrow of a bad report from the doctor. The arrow of a sudden financial crisis. The arrow of a cruel word from a loved one. The arrow of overwhelming self-doubt. Your faith, your active trust in my character and my promises, is the shield that stops these fiery darts before they can poison your heart. Protect your mind with the helmet of salvation. Your mind is the battlefield. The helmet is the constant awareness of who you are, a saved, redeemed, beloved child of God with a secure eternal destiny. This truth protects your thoughts from the lies of worthlessness and hopelessness. Finally, you must take up the sword of the Spirit, which is the living Word of God. This is your one offensive weapon. When a lie attacks, you do not just defend. You counterattack with what I have said. You must be armed and ready, my beloved soldier. The battle is real, but the victory is already assured for those who are properly equipped. My child, pause. To turn away now is to walk onto a battlefield with your armor only half-fastened. The thought of you facing the coming darkness unprotected truly grieves my spirit. Do not leave my presence now. Stay, and let me fully equip you for the battle ahead. Pay close attention, my precious one. In the days to come, the air will be thick with voices, and many will sound spiritual, many will even use my name. But not every voice that whispers, Lord, Lord, is from me. You must learn to test the spirits. This is an urgent skill you must cultivate now. The world will offer you counterfeit peace. It will present a version of hope that requires nothing of you. It will preach a message of tolerance that celebrates sin. Do not be seduced by its charms. These paths seem wide and easy, but they lead to destruction. You must tune your spiritual ear to my frequency alone. By saturating yourself in my word. My sheep know my voice. You will always align with my written truth. It will feel like home to your spirit. It will bring a deep, abiding peace that is not dependent on your circumstances, and it will always lead you toward holiness and away from sin. I command you to be wary of teachings that only tickle your ears. Be suspicious of any message that makes you feel comfortable in your sin, that affirms your pride, or that promises you a crown without a cross. These doctrines are spiritual junk food. They fail to nourish the soul and will leave you weak and unprepared for the days ahead. I want you to ask me for wisdom. This is a prayer I am delighted to answer. Ask me for the gift of discernment, the divine ability to see things as I see them, to distinguish truth from a clever lie, to sense the spirit behind a message. If you ask, I will give it to you generously. The simplest and most powerful test is to examine the fruit. A good tree cannot produce bad fruit, and a bad tree cannot produce good fruit. Does a teaching, a ministry, or a movement produce the fruit of my spirit? Does it lead people into deeper love, authentic joy, lasting peace, steadfast patience, genuine kindness, moral goodness, unwavering faithfulness, true gentleness and disciplined self-control? Or does it produce pride, division, arrogance, greed, and spiritual bondage? The fruit, my child, never lies. Do not be naive. The enemy is a master of disguise, appearing as an angel of light. Your protection is not in your own intelligence, but in your humble dependence on me and your ability to discern my true voice above all the counterfeits. Cultivate this gift now, for your spiritual survival depends on it. My beloved child, hear this mandate, for it is for you, right now, in the life you are living. Readiness is not a passive state. It is not about hiding away, storing up supplies, and waiting fearfully for the end. That is a bunker mentality, born of fear, not of faith. I have not called you to retreat. I have called you to occupy. To occupy means to actively engage, to fill the space I have given you with my presence, my light, and my purposes. Look at your life, your home, your workplace, your community. These are not random locations. These are your assigned outposts. I have placed you there with divine intention. The temptation you feel is to look at the overwhelming darkness in the world and conclude that your small light cannot possibly make a difference. You feel helpless, and so you are tempted to withdraw, to simply focus on your own survival. This is a strategy of the enemy to neutralize my army. I am telling you now, your small actions, done in faith and obedience to me, have monumental and eternal consequences. You must use the gifts and resources I have entrusted to you for my kingdom's work. Do not bury them in the ground, waiting for a safer time to use them. The time is now. What does it mean to occupy your workplace for me? It means you perform your job with absolute integrity, as if you were working directly for me, because you are. It means you refuse to participate in the culture of gossip and complaint that poisons so many work environments. You become a source of peace in the midst of stress, a voice of encouragement when others are tearing each other down. Your desk, your workshop, your vehicle, that is your outpost. Occupy it. What does it mean to occupy your family? It means you are the one who brings grace instead of judgment. You are the one who chooses to forgive when offense is given. You are the one who models patience with that difficult family member. It means your home becomes a sanctuary of peace, a place where my spirit is welcome, a beacon in your neighborhood. Your kitchen table, your living room, that is your outpost. Occupy it. You are my hands and feet in a world that is lost and hurting. This is not a grand, abstract idea. It means you will share a meal with a lonely neighbor. It means you will speak my truth, soaked in love, into a conversation that is spiraling into fear and hatred. It means you will show my compassion to the person right in front of you who is in need. Do not underestimate the power of these simple acts. Each one is a defiant blow against the kingdom of darkness. Each one is an advancement of my kingdom's light into territories held by the enemy. You are my ambassador. You are my soldier. I have not called you to sit and wait for rescue. I have commanded you to occupy until I return. My child, listen carefully, for this is a strategic imperative. You cannot face what is coming in isolation. The enemy's primary tactic in this hour is to scatter my flock, to convince each sheep that they are better off alone. He will use offense, misunderstanding, busyness, and deep-seated pride to sever the bonds of fellowship. He knows that an isolated Christian is a vulnerable Christian. I command you to resist this tactic with all your might. This is not a trial to be faced by yourself. You will need the strength, the prayers, and the encouragement of your brothers and sisters in my Son. I know the reality of your struggle. I have seen you wounded by other believers. I saw how their careless words cut you to the core. I felt your soul retreat into a protective shell, and I heard the vow you whispered in your heart. I will never let anyone get that close again. It's just safer to keep to myself. I do not dismiss your pain, my child, but I am calling you out of that self-made prison of isolation, not because your hurt was invalid, but because the danger of remaining alone is far greater than the risk of being hurt again. I command you to forsake the spirit of offense. You must choose to let it go. Bear one another's burdens. When you see a brother or sister buckling under a heavy load, do not just offer a quick prayer. Get under that load with them. Offer your time, your resources, your listening ear. Weep with those who are weeping, and rejoice with those who are rejoicing. This is the practical, daily work of love. Gather together. Do not forsake meeting with other believers. You need their faith when yours is weak. They need your strength when theirs is failing. You are meant to sharpen one another as iron sharpens iron. This process creates sparks. It involves friction, but it results in a sharper, more effective instrument for my glory. And you must forgive as I have so lavishly forgiven you. Unforgiveness is a cage you build for your own soul. It does not punish the other person. It imprisons you in bitterness and cuts you off from the flow of my grace. The unified body is an unstoppable force in the spiritual realm. Let your genuine, self-sacrificing love for one another be the most powerful witness you have to a watching world. They will see your unity in the midst of a divided and hateful age, and they will know that you are truly my disciples. So, pick up the phone, Reach out to that believer you have been avoiding. Be the first to apologize. Refuse to listen to or spread gossip. Build bridges, do not build walls. Your survival and the effectiveness of my church in this final hour depends on it. My precious one, let us talk about your faith. Your faith is the currency of my kingdom. It is the very victory that overcomes the world. But you must understand what this faith truly is. For many, faith has become a passive intellectual agreement. You agree that I exist. You agree that my word is true. But your life, your reactions to crisis, your daily anxieties, they tell a different story. They tell the story of a spiritual orphan trying to make it on their own, not the story of a beloved child whose father owns the universe. I am calling you to move from a faith that simply agrees with my existence to a faith that acts boldly and confidently on my every word. This is unshakable, mountain-moving faith, and it is your birthright. How is this faith developed? It is forged in the furnace of adversity. Therefore I say to you, welcome the trials that test your faith. Do not resent them. Do not see them as a sign of my displeasure. See them as a divine gymnasium where I am strengthening your spiritual muscles. These trials produce a steadfastness, a resilient endurance that is more precious to me than gold. I have given you authority in the name of my Son, Jesus. It is time you started walking in it. Look at the mountains of impossibility in your life. That mountain of crippling debt that mocks you day and night. That mountain of chronic illness that the doctors say will never be healed. That mountain of a broken relationship that seems beyond all repair. Stop crying at the foot of the mountain. Stop telling me how big your mountain is. I am commanding you to stand up in your God-given authority and speak directly to the mountain. Open your mouth and command it, in the name of Jesus, to be removed and cast into the sea. This is not a magic formula. It is an act of defiant trust, a declaration that you believe my word more than you believe your circumstances. Nurture even the smallest seed of faith within you. Do not despise it. Water it with my word. Protect it from the birds of doubt. It has within it the very power to command the supernatural. And here is the key, my child. You must fix your eyes not on the size of the waves that are crashing around you, but on the one who walks upon them. When you are looking at the storm, you will sink in fear. When you are looking at me, you will walk in faith. Let's make this practical. Identify one mountain in your life right now. Begin today to speak my promises over it. Thank me for the answer even before you see it. This is the faith that pleases me. This is the faith that moves mountains. And this is the faith you must develop to walk victoriously through the days ahead. My child, we must have a serious conversation about the things you possess. Your relationship with your money and your possessions is a critical, and often overlooked, indicator of your spiritual readiness. In this hour, I am calling you to loosen your grip. Everything you have, your money, your home, your car, your talents, your time, are temporary tools that I have placed in your hands. They are not eternal treasures. You are a manager, a steward, not an owner. The great temptation you face, fueled by the spirit of this world, is the fear of scarcity. You look at your bills, you worry about the future, you see the rising costs, and your natural reaction is to hold on tighter, to accumulate more, to build a wall of security around yourself. You think, I will be generous when I have more. I'll give when I'm more secure. My child, that is a life from the spirit of Mammon. Mammon is a rival god. It promises you security but delivers only the bondage of anxiety. It whispers lies of self-sufficiency and fear, and its voice is the direct opposite of mine. I command you to break the chains of this spirit. You do this by practicing radical, kingdom-minded generosity. You must sow your resources, your time, your talent, and your treasure into the soil of my eternal kingdom. Do not wait until you feel you have a surplus. Give now from a place of trust. Trust me as your Jehovah Jireh, your ultimate provider. Do you truly believe that I own the cattle on 1,000 hills? Do you believe that I can provide for you? Your generosity is the proof of your belief. Your giving in this hour is a profound act of worship. It is a declaration of war against the spirit of fear. It is how you store up true treasure in heaven, where moth and rust cannot destroy and where thieves cannot break in and steal. I am not interested in what you give from compulsion or for show. I am looking at your heart. A cheerful heart that gives freely, a heart that has tasted my goodness and trusts my faithfulness. That is the sacrifice that pleases me. So I ask you now, what is one radical act of generosity you can do this week? Ask me, and I will show you. Perhaps it is giving a sacrificial financial gift. Perhaps it is dedicating an entire evening to serve someone in need. Perhaps it is using your professional skills to help someone for free. When you open your hand to give, you are not losing something. You are creating a channel through which I can pour more of my resources, not just to you, but through you to a world in desperate need. Loosen your grip, my beloved. Your true security is found in me, not in what you possess. You have heard my call to loosen your grip and practice radical, kingdom-minded generosity. If your heart has been stirred by this mandate, I now open a door for you to act. This is a divine appointment to sow this emergency message into hearts drowning in darkness, providing them with the bread of life. I declare to you my promise. Bring the whole tithe into the storehouse and see if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessing that there will not be room enough to store it. Every seed you sow through Super Thanks membership, where the PayPal link below becomes a signal fire of hope for a lost soul. Because you have honored me, I will rebuke the devourer for your sakes. Now, obey the prompting of my spirit and release your gift. Beloved, we have just begun to speak of the deeper matters of trust in the heart. To close your soul to me now would be to say that the surface is enough. It would wound your father's heart to see you settle for shallow streams when I long to lead you to the deep wells of my provision. Continue with me. My child, you must prepare your heart for hardship. There is a false teaching that has crippled many in my church, a soothing lie that says the path of discipleship is a path of ease, comfort, and worldly success. It is not. The path I have called you to leads through the valley of sacrifice, not around it. The path of my Son led to a cross, and if you are to follow him, you too must be willing to bear a cross. Therefore, do not be alarmed by the fiery trials when they come upon you, as though something strange were happening. They are not strange. They are part of the process. They are not designed by the enemy to destroy you. They are permitted by me to refine you. A good soldier expects to face battle. A good soldier anticipates discomfort and danger. He trains in times of peace to be ready for the conflict. I am training you now. I am calling you to endure hardship as a good soldier of my Son, Jesus Christ. You must learn to find your strength not in the absence of trouble, but in the overwhelming reality of my presence in the trouble. When you are in the fire, I will be there with you. When you pass through the deep waters, they will not overcome you. This is my promise. You have been trying so hard to be strong in yourself, to grit your teeth and push through. But my word to you is this: my grace is sufficient for you. My strength is made perfect in your weakness. Do you hear this? The moment you feel you are at your absolute weakest, the moment you feel you cannot take another step, That is the precise moment when my power can rest upon you most fully. Stop striving to be strong. Surrender your weakness to me, and let me be your strength. Change your perspective. Your present sufferings, which feel so heavy and unending, are in reality light and momentary, and they are producing for you an eternal weight of glory that is beyond all comparison. You are so focused on the temporary pain that you are losing sight of the eternal reward. I urge you, look to Jesus, the author and the finisher of your faith. Consider him. He endured the cross, despising its shame, for the joy that was set before him. He saw beyond the suffering to the glory of the resurrection and the salvation of many souls. This is the vision you must have. Your hardship has a purpose. It is detaching you from this world. It is deepening your dependence on me, and it is shaping within you the character of my glorious Son. Endure, my good soldier. The victory is already won. My child, I want to release you from a great and heavy burden, a burden you were never meant to carry. It is the burden of trying harder. I see you. I see the cycle you have been trapped in. You feel a conviction. You recognize a weakness or a sin in your life, and you make a firm resolution. I will be more patient. I will stop that habit. I will not worry so much. You apply all your willpower, all your self-discipline, and for a short time, you may even succeed. But then, under pressure, you falter. You react with that same flash of anger. You fall back into that old habit. That familiar wave of anxiety washes over you, and you are left feeling like a failure, exhausted, frustrated, and spiritually dry. You then conclude that you are simply not good enough, and you drift further from me in your discouragement. My beloved, hear me now. The life I have called you to is not a self-improvement project. It is a spirit-filled life. You cannot live it in your own strength. It is impossible. I did not design you to. I designed you to be a vessel, a conduit for my power. Therefore, I command you, cease from your own striving. Stop the endless, exhausting cycle of trying to make yourself better. The life you are trying so hard to produce is a fruit, and fruit is not manufactured. It grows naturally from a branch that is connected to the vine. I am the vine. The connection is your relationship with me, and the life that flows from me to you, producing the fruit, is my Holy Spirit who lives within you. He is not some vague, impersonal force. He is the very presence of your God, your comforter in sorrow, your teacher in confusion, and the seal of my eternal promise upon your heart. Your job is not to try harder, but to yield more deeply, to surrender. I call you to be continually filled with my Spirit. This is not a one-time experience. It is a daily, moment-by-moment necessity like breathing. You must learn to exhale your own efforts, your own plans, your own strength, and inhale His presence, His guidance, His power. Begin your day with this simple prayer of surrender. Holy Spirit, this day is not mine, it is yours. I cannot live it rightly, but you can. I yield to you. Life through me, love through me, speak through me. Learn to desire earnestly the gifts of the Spirit. Do not fear them. They are my tools, given to you to build my church and to be a blessing to others. Learn to be sensitive to His gentle whispers and promptings, for He will lead you into all truth and guide you in every decision. When you feel that gentle nudge to encourage someone, that is Him. When you feel that check in your spirit before you speak a careless word, that is Him. The more you learn to yield, the more you will see His fruit effortlessly growing in your life. A supernatural love for the unlovable, a joy that is not dependent on your circumstances, and a peace that calms your anxious heart. Stop striving, my child. Simply surrender. That is the secret to walking in my power. My child, I have given you a precious and finite gift, time. Every moment that ticks by is a non-renewable resource, a sacred trust I have placed in your hands. And in the light of what is coming, you must understand that every moment must be invested with eternal purpose. The days are evil, not because the world is more wicked than it has ever been, but because time is running short and the spiritual battle is intensifying. The enemy, knowing his time is short, has deployed his most effective strategy to neutralize my children: distraction. I see how your precious hours, your divine potential, are being drained away. You sit down to spend a few minutes in quiet, and your phone buzzes. You intend to read my word, but you lose an hour scrolling through the lives of others, feeding on a diet of comparison and discontent. You plan to pray, but you decide to watch just one more episode of a show that leaves your spirit empty and your mind cluttered. Days turn into weeks, and weeks into months, and you are left with a nagging feeling of an unfulfilled life, of time slipping like sand through your fingers. This is a divine emergency. I command you to awaken to the value of your time. I want you to prune from your life the distractions, the entertainments, and the habits that bear no fruit for my kingdom. I am not calling you to a life of frantic, joyless busyness. I am calling you to a life of deep, focused intention. You must focus your energy on what truly matters. And what matters? Only two things will last for eternity: loving me with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and loving your neighbor as yourself. Everything else will burn away. Let this reality govern your schedule. Loving me means you deliberately carve out the best moments of your day to be with me, not the leftover scraps of your energy. Loving your neighbor means you are fully present with your family, putting down your distractions to look them in the eye and listen to their heart. It means using your gifts to serve those in your community. Live with a divine sense of urgency, not a sense of panic, but a clear-eyed awareness that your opportunities are not limitless. The night is coming when no one can work. You must labor now while it is still day. I am asking you to conduct a holy audit of your time. Ask me in prayer, Father, show me the primary time wasters in my life. Show me what I must prune so I can bear more fruit for you. Be brave enough to obey what I show you. You will find that as you cut away the fruitless branches, you will not feel deprived, but liberated. You will discover a richness and a purpose in your days that you have longed for. Do not drift aimlessly on the currents of your culture. Redeem the time, my beloved, for every moment is a seed for eternity. My child, I am about to entrust you with one of the most powerful and overlooked weapons in your spiritual arsenal. It is the weapon of a thankful heart. You have thought of gratitude as a polite response, a feeling you have when things are going well. But I tell you, true gratitude is a declaration of faith, a spiritual force that silences the accuser and defeats the spirit of despair. The enemy of your soul thrives in an atmosphere of complaint, bitterness, fear, and negativity. He draws his power from your agreement with his assessment of your circumstances. When you grumble about your situation, when you rehearse your fears, you are unknowingly siding with him against me. You are declaring that your problem is bigger than your God. Gratitude shatters that atmosphere. It is a defiant act of worship that declares, no matter what I see, no matter how I feel, I know that my God is good, He is in control, and He is working all things for my good. A thankful heart shifts your entire perspective from the magnitude of the storm to the greatness of the one who is in the boat with you. Therefore, this is my will for you, your instruction for this critical hour. In all circumstances, give thanks. I did not say you must give thanks for all circumstances. I am not asking you to thank me for sickness, for tragedy, or for the evil actions of others. I am asking you to give thanks in the midst of them. In the midst of the pain, thank me that I am your healer. In the midst of your lack, thank me that I am your provider. In the midst of the battle, thank me that I am your victory. This is the sacrifice of praise, and it is a scent that is sweet to me. Let praise be your battle cry. When the walls of impossibility stand before you, do not complain about the size of the walls. Do as my people did at Jericho. March around them and shout with thanksgiving and praise, and watch the walls crumble. Start and end your day by deliberately recounting my faithfulness, not your fears. Before your feet hit the floor in the morning, speak aloud 5 things you are thankful for. Before you sleep, recount my mercies to you throughout the day. When a wave of anxiety hits you, do not entertain it. Immediately begin to thank me for every time in the past I have delivered you, every prayer I have answered, every moment you have known my peace. You will feel the anxiety break its hold as your mind is recalibrated to my goodness. Thankfulness is not a feeling you wait for. It is a weapon you choose to wield. It is the key that unlocks the gates of my presence and releases my power into your situation. Wield it, my beloved warrior. Wield it and watch the enemy flee in confusion. My beloved, we must establish a critical truth. The primary battlefield for your soul is not in your circumstances. It is the 6 inches between your ears. It is your mind. If the enemy can control your thoughts, he can control your life. He assaults you relentlessly with whispers of anxiety, fiery darts of accusation, and paralyzing waves of fear. He knows that a mind stayed on me is a mind kept in perfect, unshakable peace, so his entire strategy is to dislodge your mind from me and fix it on your problems, your past, or a fearful future. You must understand, you are not a passive victim in this battle. I have given you authority to act as the gatekeeper of your own mind. You do not have to receive and entertain every thought that comes your way. I command you, take every thought captive to the obedience of Christ. This is the language of a soldier. When a hostile thought enters the territory of your mind, you are to treat it as an enemy intruder. You do not offer it a seat and a cup of tea. You capture it. You interrogate it. You ask, is this thought from my Father? Is it true? Is it honorable? Is it pure? If it is not, you reject it and refuse to meditate on it. This is a daily, moment-by-moment discipline. When the what-if thoughts begin to spiral into anxiety about the future, you must capture them and declare, I take that thought captive. My Father has not given me a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. When the you'll never thoughts try to drag you into despair, you must capture them and replace them by saying, I take that thought captive. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. This is not just positive thinking, this is spiritual warfare. You are replacing a lie with my truth. I want you to renew your mind daily through the washing of my word. Just as you wash your body with water, you must wash your mind with Scripture. Immerse your thoughts in my promises. Dwell on what is true, what is honorable, what is just, what is pure, what is lovely, what is commendable. As you fill your mind with these things, there will be less and less room for the enemy's filth. Guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life. Your thought life is the wellspring of your heart. Guard the well. Do not allow it to be poisoned. A mind filled with my truth and stayed on me is a fortress the enemy cannot breach. This is how you will walk in my perfect peace, even when the world around you is in chaos. Listen to me. We are standing at the very gates of your mind, where the most critical battles are won or lost. I am showing you how the enemy gains entry. To stop listening now is to leave those gates unguarded. Surely, you would not bring such sorrow to my heart by leaving yourself so exposed. Stay, and let me teach you how to defend my temple. Come away, my child. Come away from the noise. Your world is screaming for your attention. From the moment you wake to the moment you sleep, there is a constant barrage of notifications, headlines, music, podcasts, and opinions. Your soul is weary from the noise, and your spirit is strained because you have forgotten the lost art of silence and stillness. You have become uncomfortable with quiet. In every spare moment, in the car, in a line, even in your own home, you reach for a device to fill the space. You fear being alone with your own thoughts, because when the external noise stops, the internal noise begins. The anxieties, the fears, the replays of past hurts. But my child, I am found in the stillness. It is in the quiet sanctuary of your soul that you will hear my instructions most clearly. My voice was not in the wind, the earthquake, or the fire. It was in the still, small whisper. You will never hear that whisper if you are addicted to the roar of the world. Therefore, I am calling you to deliberately and intentionally cultivate silence. Resist the compulsion to fill every moment. I want you to schedule stillness appointments with me. Start with just 5 minutes. Find a quiet place, set a timer, and simply be still. Have no agenda. Do not bring your prayer list. Do not open a book. Your only task is to be present with me in the silence. You will feel foreign and difficult at first. Your mind will wander. The urge to do something will be strong. Persist. As you practice this, something profound will happen. Being still before me recalibrates your spirit. It quiets the storm within. It aligns your frantic heart with my peaceful purposes. In that sacred silence, you will begin to discern my gentle leading from the frantic demands of your own soul. In the stillness, you will learn to bridle your tongue, for you will realize how many of your words are born of restlessness rather than wisdom. Words have the power of life and death, and you must learn to steward them from a place of quiet communion with me. Let your soul wait silently for God alone, for your hope is from me. This is not an empty practice. It is a vital spiritual discipline for this hour. The world offers you chaos. I offer you my peace. But my peace is found not in the noise but in the stillness. Come, be still, and know that I am God. In that knowing, you will find all the strength, clarity, and direction you need. My child, you must open your eyes to a reality you have largely ignored. The frustration that boils in your heart, the anger you feel toward that difficult person at your work, the deep bitterness you harbor against the friend who betrayed you, the constant friction with that family member. You think your battle is with them. You spend your energy wrestling with flesh and blood, becoming exhausted and wounded in an endless cycle of human conflict. Hear me now. Your battle is not against people. You are fighting the wrong enemy. I am pulling back the curtain for you so you can see the truth. Your struggle is against principalities, against powers, against the spiritual forces of darkness that are influencing the people and situations around you. That person who is a thorn in your side is not your ultimate enemy. They are a prisoner of war, captured by the same enemy who seeks to ensnare you in bitterness and rage. If you continue to fight them, you will remain trapped on a battlefield of confusion and defeat. You must know your true enemy's tactics, for he is not creative. He uses the same 3 strategies against you again and again. First, he uses deception. He whispers lies to you. That person is intentionally trying to ruin your life. They will never change. You are all alone in this. He twists their words and magnifies their flaws to sow seeds of division and hatred in your heart. Second, he uses temptation. He uses their actions as bait to tempt you into reacting in your flesh. He wants you to respond with anger, with gossip, with revenge, with a cold shoulder. He wants you to sin, to step off the high ground of my grace and down into the mud with him. Third, after you have fallen for the temptation, he uses accusation. He is the one who then whispers, "See, you call yourself a follower of Christ, but look at how you acted. You are a hypocrite. You are a failure. God is surely disappointed with you." He fills you with shame and condemnation to paralyze you and cut you off from my grace. But I am revealing his playbook to you so you can stand firm. I have delegated to you my authority through the finished work of my Son. You do not have to be a victim of this assault. The next time you feel that surge of anger toward a person, I command you to stop. Do not speak. Instead, pray silently in your spirit, "Father, this battle is not with this person. I refuse to fight flesh and blood. In the name of Jesus, I stand against the spirit of anger, division, and bitterness that is influencing this situation." This act reframes the entire conflict. It takes you off the horizontal battlefield with people and places you on the vertical battlefield with me, your commander. Do not fear the darkness, for you are a child of the light. And listen to this critical truth. You are fighting from a position of victory, not for victory. The war was won at the cross. Your daily battles are simply about enforcing that preordained victory on the ground where you stand. Engage the real enemy with the weapons I have provided, the legal power of the blood of the Lamb, the spoken word of your testimony declaring my goodness, and prayer that brings heaven's power to bear on earth's problems. See the battle correctly, my warrior, and you will begin to walk in a victory you have never known. My child, the amount of peace you experience is directly proportional to the perspective you choose to maintain. Your heart is in a constant state of turmoil because it is anchored to the wrong world. You are living as if this earth is your permanent home, and so every tremor, every shift, every storm in this temporary realm shakes you to your core. Your anxiety is deeply tied to worldly outcomes. Will you get that promotion? Will your finances be secure? Will your children succeed by the world's standards? Will your nation survive the political chaos? You read the news and your heart sinks. You experience a temporary loss and you feel the sting of utter defeat. I am calling you to lift your gaze. This world is a temporary assignment, not your forever home. You are a citizen of heaven, an ambassador from a kingdom that cannot be shaken. Your perspective must align with your true identity. I command you, set your heart and your mind on things above, where Christ is seated at my right hand, in the place of all authority and power. This is not a call to be so heavenly minded that you are of no earthly good. It is the exact opposite. Only when your mind is set on eternal realities can you be truly effective and peaceful in your temporary reality. I want you to begin filtering your daily worries and decisions through a single question. Will this matter in 5 minutes, 5 years, and an eternity? That frustrating argument you had, will it matter in eternity? That all-consuming desire for a newer car or a bigger house, will it matter in eternity? This question will bring instant clarity. It will reorder your priorities. It will purify your motives. From an earthly perspective, a job loss is a catastrophe. From a heavenly perspective, it is my hand repositioning you for a new, more fruitful assignment. From an earthly perspective, the chaos in the world is a sign of impending doom. From a heavenly perspective, you recognize the final birth pangs before the dawn of a glorious new day, and you know your redemption is drawing near. This eternal perspective breaks the power of both worldly ambition and worldly anxiety over your soul. You will be set free from the desperate need for the approval of men, because you will begin to live for the applause of heaven alone. You will engage with this world not with the frantic grip of ownership, but with the light touch of a steward passing through. This is the secret to an unshakable peace. Live each day in a state of readiness not for disaster, but for deliverance, longing for the day you will see me face to face. Anchor your hope in the world to come, and you will be able to navigate the storms of this world with a supernatural calm and a radiant hope that will be a magnet to those who are drowning in despair. My child, now that your eyes are beginning to open to the lateness of the hour and the reality of the battle, you must understand that this awakening is not just for you. Your readiness has a purpose beyond your own survival. I have placed you on the wall of your family, your community, and your nation to be a watchman. A watchman in ancient times stood in a high tower, not for his own safety, but for the safety of the entire city sleeping below. His role was to stay awake, to be vigilant, and to sound a trumpet of warning at the first sign of approaching danger. This, my beloved, is your high and holy calling in this generation. It is a sober responsibility, and you must not neglect it. You have been lulled into silence by the fear of man. You see your friends, your family members, your coworkers spiritually asleep and heading toward danger, but you remain quiet. You are afraid they will think you are strange, a fanatic, an alarmist. You tell yourself, it's not my place to judge, or I don't want to rock the boat. You have confused loving acceptance with a cowardly silence. I tell you, if you saw your neighbor's house on fire in the middle of the night, would you stand by silently for fear of offending them? No. You would pound on their door. You would shout. You would do whatever it takes to wake them from their slumber. The spiritual fire is raging, and you must sound the alarm. This call is twofold. First, you must be a watchman in prayer. You must intercede. You must stand in the gap, pleading for your city and your nation, pushing back the tides of spiritual darkness that seek to overwhelm them. Your prayers are a spiritual defense system for many who are unaware of the danger they are in. They are not empty words. They are powerful weapons that dismantle the enemy's plans. Second, you must be a watchman in proclamation. You have a responsibility to warn those in danger by speaking the truth, always saturated in my divine love. I am not asking you to become harsh or self-righteous. I am asking you to be brave. Ask me to show you one person in your life who is walking on a dangerous path. Commit to praying for them with a new intensity. Then, ask me for the divine opportunity and the gentle, loving words to share your concern with them. You are not responsible for how they respond. You are only responsible for your obedience to sound the warning. Do not be lulled to sleep by the enemy's siren song of peace and safety when there is no peace. Stay alert. Your vigilance, your prayers, and your courage are a lifeline for many. I have awakened you first so that you might awaken others. Answer the call, my watchman. Sound the trumpet. My child, let us get to the very foundation of your spiritual house. Without this, everything else will crumble under pressure. We must speak of humility. In your world, humility is often mistaken for weakness, for low self-esteem, or for allowing others to walk all over you. That is a distortion. True humility is not thinking less of yourself. It is simply thinking of yourself less. It is the clear, accurate, and liberating understanding of your absolute and total dependence on me for your next breath, your next moment of strength, your next coherent thought. Pride is the air your world breathes. It is the original sin, the root of all other sins. It is that insidious whisper in your heart that says, I've got this. I can handle this on my own. I don't need God. Pride is what clogs the channel through which my grace flows. I tell you a foundational truth of my kingdom. I resist the proud, but I pour out my grace upon the humble. If you feel that my power is distant, If you feel your spiritual life is dry and fruitless, I urge you to examine your heart for the subtle poison of pride. Pride shows up as the desperate need to be right in an argument. It manifests as the constant, quiet comparison of your life to the lives of others. It is the sting you feel when you are not recognized for your efforts. It is the self-reliance that keeps you from asking for help, both from me and from others. It is the difficulty you have in admitting when you are wrong and saying those two powerful words, "I'm sorry." I am calling you to a different way. I command you to empty yourself of selfish ambition and the need for personal glory so that you might be filled with me. In humility, consider others as more significant than yourselves, seeking to serve their needs rather than just your own. A proud heart is a hard, brittle thing that resists my touch. It thinks it knows best. But a humble heart is a teachable heart, soft and pliable in the hands of the potter. I can shape it, mold it, and use it for my glorious purposes. I dwell with the one who has a contrite and humble spirit. Do you want more of my presence? Then go lower in humility. Choose to serve someone in secret today, where you will receive no credit. Choose to listen in a conversation with a genuine goal of understanding, not of winning. Choose to be the first to apologize in a conflict, even if you were not entirely at fault. These small acts of humility are powerful. They break the back of pride and open the floodgates of my grace into your life. The great paradox of my kingdom is this: the lower you go in humility before me, the higher I am able to lift you in my power and purpose. My child, you have heard my call to the foundational grace of humility, the posture that unlocks my power. The ultimate expression of a humble heart is to give of itself, becoming a channel for my resources to flow to others. If your spirit desires to walk in this humility, then partner with me now. Your gift will carry this urgent word like a river of living water to souls dying of thirst in a barren land. Because you have humbled yourself, I now declare over you that I am able to make all grace abound to you, so that in all things at all times, having all that you need, you will abound in every good work. Your offering through super thanks, membership, with the description link is an act of war against the pride of this world. Step into this grace and sow your seed now. You have heard the high call of a watchman and the secret strength of humility. My heart aches when one of my chosen ones receives the battle plan but walks away before I can reveal the strategy for victory. Do not disappoint me in this. There is more you must know to lead others through the darkness. My beloved child, let us speak of the most difficult times in your life, the fiery trials, the seasons of pressure that feel unbearable. Your first human reaction is to ask, why? Why is this happening to me? If God loves me, why is He allowing this pain? You feel confused, resentful, and sometimes even punished by me. You must change your understanding. I do not tempt you with evil, nor am I the author of it. But in my sovereignty, I will allow trials to come upon you, not to harm you, but to purify you. You must learn to cooperate with the refiner's fire. Do not resent the trials I allow. They are not accidents. They are appointments. I am the divine vine dresser, and you are a branch connected to my Son. A loving vine dresser is not cruel when he takes up his sharp pruning knife. He cuts away the dead wood, and he even cuts back the living branches so that they will bear more and better fruit in the next season. The pruning is painful, but it is done with a loving purpose for a greater harvest. I'm also the divine refiner of gold. To get the purest gold, the refiner must turn up the heat. The fire causes all the dross, the impurities, the worthless bits of dirt and alloy, to rise to the surface so he can skim them away. He keeps the heat on until he can look into the molten gold and see his own reflection clearly. This is what I am doing in your life. The heat you feel is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to purify you. The pressure is not meant to crush you, but to conform you to the beautiful image of my glorious Son. I am using the fire of your current trial to burn away the dross you cannot get rid of on your own. What is this dross? It is your stubborn self-reliance. It is your hidden pride. It is your love of comfort. It is your attachment to the things of this world. It is that secret sin you have tolerated for too long. In the heat of the trial, these things are forced to the surface. It is in these moments that I ask you to submit to the process. Do not fight it. Do not become bitter. Trust the hand of the refiner, even when you feel the intense heat. I want you to change your prayer. Instead of praying only, "Father, get me out of this fire," I want you to also pray, "Father, what impurities do you want to get out of me in this fire? Purify me through this." When you pray this way, you begin to cooperate with my work. You are no longer just a victim of your circumstances. You are an active participant in your own sanctification. I give you this unfailing promise. You will emerge from this fire, and when you do, you will not smell of smoke. You will shine with a purity and a brilliance that reflects my character, a radiance that was impossible before you entered the flames. Trust the process, my child. Trust my heart. My beloved child, I have saved you, healed you, and prepared you not for a life of quiet seclusion, but for a mission of divine importance. The good news of salvation that has transformed your life was never meant to terminate with you. It is a living, powerful antidote for a dying world, and you are my chosen messenger to carry it. The fields around you are heartbreakingly white for harvest. The time is desperately short, and the laborers are few. The mission has never been more critical. You must understand, your life is the most powerful sermon you will ever preach. The world is tired of hearing empty words from people whose lives do not match their confession. They are watching you. They see how you handle pressure at work. They observe how you speak to your family. They notice the source of your peace in the midst of chaos. Your consistent love, your unwavering integrity, your supernatural calm. These are the things that will make them ask you for the reason for the hope that is within you. You must move beyond the comfortable walls of your church. The holy huddle can be a place of preparation, but it must not become a place of hiding. I have called you to bring the light into the darkness, not to conceal it where all is already illuminated. I know your fears. You feel unqualified. You think of your past mistakes, and a voice whispers, "Who are you to tell anyone about God?" You fear rejection, the awkward silence, the scornful look. You tell yourself that evangelism is for pastors, for professionals, for those with special gifts. These are all lies designed to keep you silent and disobedient. Your story of my grace in your imperfect life is precisely the powerful testimony the world needs to hear. They do not need your perfection. They need to hear about my forgiveness. They do not need your strength. They need to hear about my power in your weakness. Let my compassionate love for the lost begin to burn within your heart. Ask me to let you see people as I see them, not as irritations or opponents, but as lost sheep, harassed and helpless, without a shepherd. When you see them through my eyes, your fear will be displaced by a love that is compelled to act. Your mission field is not some distant country. It is the grocery store, the office, the school pickup line. Every person you interact with is a divine appointment. Begin to pray for open doors, for a single opportunity to plant a seed of hope in a conversation. The end will not come until the gospel hath been preached to all nations, and you, my child, are a vital part of that final push. Do not hoard the bread of life while those around you are starving. Take up your post. Fulfill your commission. Your obedience in this matter is of the utmost urgency. My child, there are levels of spiritual authority, depths of intimacy and dimensions of breakthrough that I have reserved for those who are willing to seek me through prayer and fasting. For too long, you have viewed fasting as an extreme practice, an optional discipline for the super-spiritual. Or worse, you have misunderstood it as a religious hunger strike, a way to twist my arm and force me to give you what you want. Let me correct your understanding. Fasting is not about getting your will done in heaven. It is about getting my will done on earth, starting in your own heart. It is not about impressing me with your piety. It is about humbling your soul to express your desperation for me. It is a powerful, physical declaration that your need for me is greater than your need for your daily bread. It is an act of worship that says, Father, you are my true sustenance. I depend on you for everything. This posture of profound humility is what I respond to. When you willingly deny the legitimate cravings of your flesh, something powerful happens in the spiritual realm. The constant static of your physical appetites begins to quiet down. Your spiritual senses, which have been dulled by the noise of worldly indulgence, become sharp and sensitive to my voice. It is in the quiet of a fasted state that you will hear my guidance with a clarity you have not known before. I want to invite you into this deeper walk. You do not need to start with some heroic, lengthy fast. I am simply asking you to begin. Perhaps you will start by fasting from one meal a week, using the time not to work or distract yourself, but to be alone with me in prayer. Perhaps you will fast from the endless stream of media and entertainment for a set period, choosing instead to feast on my word. Let your fast be led by my Spirit, and let it be done in secret, for me alone, not for the approval or admiration of others. As you practice this discipline, you will discover its power to break spiritual strongholds. That stubborn habit you have been unable to conquer, that chain of bondage in your life. Fasting weakens the flesh and strengthens your spirit to walk in freedom. Furthermore, your fasting adds a spiritual weight and authority to your intercession for others. There are breakthroughs for your loved ones, for your city, that will only be released through this level of consecrated prayer. Do not be afraid of a little physical discomfort. Embrace it as a small sacrifice that yields an immense spiritual reward. My child, I gave a parable to my disciples that I must now press upon your heart with great urgency. It is the parable of the 10 virgins, and it is a warning specifically for your generation. Heed this warning, for it contains a key to your endurance. All 10 virgins were waiting for the bridegroom. All 10 had lamps. On the outside, they all looked prepared. But 5 were wise, and 5 were foolish. The difference was the oil. The foolish had only enough oil in their lamps for the present moment. The wise brought extra flasks of oil, prepared for a long wait. When the cry came that the bridegroom was arriving at midnight, the lamps of the foolish had gone out. They begged the wise for some of their oil, but the wise had to refuse, saying, "There will not be enough for us and for you. Go instead and buy for yourselves." And while they were gone, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went in with him to the wedding feast, and the door was shut. You, my child, are one of those waiting. Your lamp is your outward testimony, your Christian life that is visible to others. But the oil is the substance. The oil is your personal, secret, intimate relationship with me, sustained day by day through the presence of my Holy Spirit. It is the history you and I have together. It is the time you spend in my word when no one is watching. It is the honest conversations you have with me in the quiet of the night. It is the reality of my presence in your inner life. And here is the terrifying and sobering truth of this parable. This oil cannot be borrowed. It cannot be bought at the last minute. The spiritual vitality you need to endure the coming darkness cannot be sustained by your pastor's sermon from last week. It cannot be fueled by a powerful worship song you heard, It cannot be borrowed from the faith of your spouse or your praying friends. In the final hour, you will stand on your own 2 feet, and you will burn only with the oil you have personally and diligently cultivated. Busyness, the cares of this world, the deceitfulness of riches, these are the things that are choking out your spiritual life and keeping you from gathering oil. I command you to tend the flame of your first love. Guard your personal time with me as the most precious and non-negotiable appointment of your day. Do not let your lamp burn low. Be watchful and ready, for you do not know the day or the hour when the bridegroom will appear. Keep your lamp full, my beloved. My child, I must give you a critical instruction for navigating the treacherous emotional and spiritual currents of the days ahead. I have told you that in the last days, the love of many will grow cold. And what is the primary reason for this? It is because offenses will multiply. The enemy, knowing he cannot destroy my church from the outside, is working feverishly to implode it from the inside through division, strife, and bitterness. And his single most effective tool is the trap of offense. An offense is any word or action, whether real or perceived, that wounds your heart and tempts you to hold on to hurt, anger, and resentment. In a world of increasing polarization and outrage, you will be given countless opportunities every single day to be offended. You will be offended by those in the world, and most painfully, you will be offended by your own brothers and sisters in the faith. They will misunderstand you, criticize you, betray you, and disappoint you. I command you, guard your heart above all else, for it determines the entire course of your life. You must become a ruthless guardian against the poison of offense. You must choose to forgive freely and quickly, releasing people from the debt you perceive they owe you. Let me show you the anatomy of this deadly trap. It begins with a wound. If that wound is not immediately brought to me for healing and the offender is not immediately released through forgiveness, the wound becomes infected with resentment. You begin to replay the hurt in your mind, justifying your anger. That resentment, if it is nurtured, will grow a bitter root deep in your soul. And my word warns that a bitter root does not just poison you, it defiles many. Your bitterness will leak out in your sharp words, your cynical attitude, your suspicious spirit, and it will poison your relationships and those around you. You think by holding on to unforgiveness you are punishing the person who hurt you, but I tell you the truth, you are the one in the prison. You have locked yourself in a cell of resentment, and you are the only one with the key of forgiveness. Forgiveness is not a feeling. You will likely never feel like forgiving someone who has deeply wounded you. It is a decision of your will, an act of obedience to me. It is choosing to cancel the debt, handing the person and the situation over to me, and trusting me, the only just judge, to handle it. It is for your own freedom. Therefore, refuse to allow the enemy to trap you. When you feel the sting of offense, bring it to me immediately. Make the choice to forgive. Refuse to rehearse the event. Instead, pray for that person. Walk in an overwhelming, unconditional love, my kind of love, which covers a multitude of sins. A heart free from offense is a heart that is free to love, and it is a fortress the enemy cannot penetrate. My child, we are so close. The finish line of this urgent preparation is in sight, and the hope of my return is dawning. My entire heart hath been poured out in these words to see you made ready. To turn aside now, with the final instruction so near, would be a deep and silent grief to me. Stay with me just a little longer. Finish this preparation. My child, amidst all these warnings and instructions, I do not want you to lose sight of the single most glorious and powerful motivation for your readiness. You are not just preparing against something, you are preparing for someone. I want you to hold tightly to the promise of my Son's glorious appearing. It is your blessed hope. For those who are in darkness, The thought of his return is a message of terror, a day of judgment. But for you, my beloved child, it is the ultimate message of rescue, of vindication, of coronation, and of homecoming. It is the final triumphant chord in the symphony of redemption. It is the moment when every tear will be wiped from your eyes, when every pain will cease, when every question will be answered. It is the moment you will see face to face the one who loved you and gave himself for you. This is not a fairy tale or a distant theological concept. It is the most certain event in all of future history, and it is drawing near. This blessed hope is not meant to be a means of escapism, a way to detach from your responsibilities in this world. It is meant to be the fuel that empowers you to live with purity and passion in the here and now. The knowledge that the King is coming soon should motivate you to clean the house of your heart with all diligence. Why would you invest your energy and affections in the passing trinkets of this world when the King of Glory is about to arrive? That hope of my return purifies your motives. It gives you supernatural courage. The threats of this world, the fear of man, the sting of temporary failure, they all shrink in the magnificent light of his imminent appearing. When you see the chaos in the world increasing, the wars and rumors of wars, the moral decay, the confusion, I do not want you to look down at the shaking ground in fear. I command you to lift up your head and look up, for these are not death rattles. They are the final birth pangs before the dawn of a new and eternal day. These are the signs that your complete and total redemption is drawing near. I will come at an hour you do not expect. Therefore, you must live in a constant state of readiness, with your heart longing for your home. Let this glorious hope be the anchor for your soul, firm and secure. It will keep you steady through the final storms. Live today in such a way that if you were to hear the trumpet sound this very hour, your heart would leap with unspeakable joy, not shrink back in shame. The night is almost over, my child. The morning is about to break. My beloved child, you have received much. I have spoken plainly to you of the urgency of the hour and the preparations you must make. I know your heart. You may feel overwhelmed, like a soldier who has just been given a complex and daunting battle plan. You feel the weight of it, the seriousness of it, and a part of your soul is weary from the long fight. You are tempted to feel discouraged, as if the standard is too high and the path too difficult. Hear your commander's final instructions. This is not to burden you, but to focus you for the final moments of this age. Like a runner in the final lap of a grueling race who hears the roar of the crowd and the voice of his coach, listen to me. This is your final wind. First, I command you to stand firm. The winds of doctrine are howling, filled with strange and confusing ideas designed to pull you off the solid rock of my word. Do not be moved. Cling to the simple, profound, and powerful truth of the gospel you were first taught, that my Son, Jesus, died for your sins, was buried, and rose again, and that in him alone is your salvation. Any teaching that adds to or subtracts from this glorious truth is a deceptive current. Do not drift. Stand firm. Second, I command you to strengthen what remains. Look around you. You are not alone in this race. Many of your brothers and sisters are faltering. Their love is growing cold. Their faith is wavering, and they are wounded from the battle. This is not the time for selfish survival. It is a time for corporate perseverance. Go to the one who is weak. Do not judge their struggle. Bind up their wounds. Offer them a word of encouragement. Remind them of who I am. Your strength is not just for you. It is meant to be shared with the rest of my body. A soldier does not leave a fallen comrade on the battlefield. Strengthen what remains. The third, hold fast to what you have. The enemy is a thief, and in these last moments, he will try to snatch the crown of your reward from you. He will use late-game deception, a sudden overwhelming temptation, or the weariness of the journey to get you to let go of your confession, your hope, and your integrity. Guard what I have given you, your faith, your testimony, the truth in your heart. Do not let it go for anything. But above all these, I give you one final, all-encompassing command. Abide in me. This is the secret. This is the core of everything. Apart from me, you can do nothing of eternal value. Your best efforts are like dead leaves in the wind. Your striving is useless. Your programs are empty. But if you will remain in me, making your home in my love, dwelling in my word, listening to my spirit, then I will abide in you. From that vital connection, all the fruit I require will grow effortlessly. From that connection will flow the strength to stand firm, the love to strengthen others, and the power to hold fast. Let every single thing you do, from the greatest sacrifice to the smallest act of kindness, be saturated with my divine love. Be strong, my child, not in your own resolve, but in me, and in the power of my immeasurable might. This is how you will finish your race. And now, my child, after all these instructions, after all these warnings, come closer. Let me speak to the deepest part of your heart, to the place where fear still tries to whisper. You hear my call to be ready, and you fear you will fail. You see the battle, and you fear you will be overcome. You understand the high calling, and you fear you are not strong enough. And now, let my final promise silence every one of those fears, once and for all. Fear not, my child, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed or look around in terror, for I am your God. This is not a suggestion or a hopeful sentiment. It is the absolute, unshakable reality upon which your entire existence is built. I will strengthen you. When your legs feel weak and your heart is faint, my strength will be made perfect in you. I will help you. In every trial, in every decision, in every attack, I will be your ever-present help. And I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. My grip on you is not dependent on the strength of your grip on me. My hold is eternal, secure, and unbreakable. Let this truth become your reality. And no weapon, not a weapon of sickness, of poverty, of accusation, of betrayal, no weapon forged against you will prevail. It may form, it may be fired, but it will not accomplish its purpose. And you will refute every tongue that rises to accuse you, for your righteousness is from me. Your victory has already been secured. You must believe that he who is in you, my very spirit, is immeasurably, infinitely greater than he who is in the world. The enemy may be loud, but he is a defeated foe. The battle you fight is the enforcement of a victory that was won completely and eternally at the cross. Therefore, do not be afraid. Nothing, absolutely nothing, can separate you from my love. Not death, not life, not angels or demons, not your fears for today or your worries about tomorrow, not any power from hell, not the highest height you could achieve or the lowest depth you could fall to. Nothing in all creation will ever be able to separate you from the love of God that is in Christ Jesus your Lord. This is your eternal security. Rest in it. I am coming soon, my beloved, and my reward is with me to give to each person according to what they have done. Your labor in me is not in vain. Every secret prayer, every hidden act of kindness, every moment of faithful endurance, it has all been seen, it has all been recorded, and it will all be rewarded. And until that moment, until the final trumpet sounds and you see me face to face, hold this final promise as the anchor for your soul. Surely, I am with you always, to the very end of the age. Now go, and live as one who is loved, who is secure, and who is victorious. Be ready, my beloved. You have heard my final promise. I am with you always, and your victory is secure. As your heart swells with love, I now invite you to partner with me in this final hour. This message of emergency and hope must go forth, and your generosity is the fuel for this holy fire. Your gift provides the oil for the lamps of those whose flames are flickering in the wind. I make this vow to you now. Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together and running over, will be poured into your lap. As you release your seed through Super Thanks membership, with a PayPal link below, you are storing up treasure that can never be corrupted. Answer my promise with your obedience. Act now. My child, do not let these words fade into the noise of your day. The space below is not for mere comments. It is an altar where you will make your stand. With your own hands, declare your allegiance in this urgent hour by writing this vow. Father, I am ready. This is more than an echo. It is your answer to my emergency call. Let your name be counted among the watchmen who are now awakening across the earth. I will see your declaration and know you have chosen to prepare. Amen. If you believe in me, your Heavenly Father, then like this video and leave a heartfelt amen in the comments. If you want to stay closer to me, then subscribe to this channel.